I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get it, no call it quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out.
Welcome to Canada's premier boxing promoter, United Boxing Promotions, and a night full of fights at Pickering Casino Resort. We have a night full of action here on tap for you in Pickering. Shane Hollinshead alongside former three-time WBC Continental Americas champion and WBC North American champion Tony Lewis. And Tony, it's Saturday night. We're in a casino. It's a packed house. It just has a big fight kind of feel.
Am I in Pickering or am I in Vegas right now?
Let's jump right into things. We have a great card of action on tap, and we'll start with the main event. Brandon Cook, a local product, Ajax, Ontario, looking to keep his winning streak going, or put his winning action on the line here tonight. Gino Godoy, 35 KOs combined between these two fighters. This could be an action-packed main event.
Very much so, and it's a very evenly matched bout on paper. Both guys have similar records, similar skill sets. They both like to fight in the center of the ring and engage in the mid-range and comfortable in the pocket. They both favor their left hooks to the body. But Brandon Cook is the more well-seasoned veteran, who's more well-traveled. He's been everywhere. He's been on the road, fought for a world title, fought the world-class opposition. Godoy hasn't lost in 12 years, but he also is fighting for the first time tonight outside of his home country, Argentina. So it's one thing to fight in the comfort of home, surrounded by your people, and another to be on the road. So it's a milestone for him. Let's see how he reacts to it. But these are two guys in their mid-30s, very much a crossroads bout, a very pivotal moment for each guy in the stage of their career, win or loss.
Yeah, the co-main event, marvelous Mark Smither putting his undefeated 10-0 record on the line, looking to keep that winning train going, looking to set up perhaps some big fights this coming summer, but he has a veteran opponent across the ring from him in tonight in Jorge Rodriguez.
Yes, Jorge Rodriguez is the type of veteran who's well-seasoned and very awkward and herky-jerky, who's has the type of unconventional approach that can throw off a classic boxer like Smither off his game. But Smither and his coach Jack Ireland, I know them very well. They always come with a great game plan, well disciplined, well dedicated to their craft. I'm sure they're going to be prepared. Smither has already reached a couple milestones in his young career. He's a Canadian super lightweight champion. He's also his first regional IBO belt holder. Can he reach the third milestone tonight and score his first knockout in his 11th start? He's got a tough opponent to do it with tonight, but there's a first time for everything.
Why wait any longer? Let's get this party started. Let's toss it up to our ring announcer and Carlos Verde to introduce our first fight.
Look on your sexy, look on your come on, look on your sexy, look on your hot girl, muggle in a dance and them a rip rough for that
Good evening, fight fans, and welcome inside the Pickering Casino Resort here in Pickering, Ontario, Canada. Tonight, Tyler Buxton's United Boxing Promotions presents 5 world-class international boxing matches. Tonight's bouts are presented by Proper 12 Irish Whiskey and Verde Alliance, and sanctioned by the Office of the Ontario Athletics Commissioner, Mr. Luke Kotick. Our officials at ringside from the Commission, the timekeeper, Mr. Jim Monkelbaum, the Commissioner's delegate, Mr. Salim Hanif, and the knockdown timekeeper is Mr. Joel Bunog. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our first bout of the evening, slated for 4 rounds in the super featherweight division. Please join me in welcoming, for the very first time outside his native Mexico, Jorge Chapu Diaz.
Tony getting set for our first fight of the night, making his ring entrance, Jorge Diaz, and I know this was a fight on the card, despite being the first of the night, that you had circled as a potential for fireworks.
100%. I think it could steal the show, because it's not often you see 2 young guys at this early stage of their careers match up. I mean, Mike Cabato is only 23 years old. He's only 2-0 in his third start tonight. And Jorge Valencia Diaz, 18 years old, only entering his 5th professional fight tonight. So this is and Chapo Diaz, we're seeing him right now. I saw his loss was a very competitive loss to a 4-0 prospect. He's still only 18. Got lots of time to grow and develop. He could give us a surprise tonight. We'll see. I think Mike Cabato has his hands full tonight.
How impressive is the age of this young man? 18 years old, traveling here to Canada to take on a very tough young opponent in his own right in Michael Cabato, but just 18 years old. How impressive is that?
Very impressive. It tells me he's,
And now please welcome to the arena, fighting out of the red corner for the very first time in Canada, the undefeated Toronto's very own Michael Cabato.
Making his way to the ring, Michael Cabato, young man from Toronto, Ontario, just 2-0 in his boxing career, but this is a young man that comes from a fighting family.
He did. His father was a former Filipino lightweight champion. His uncles also boxed professionally. He definitely grew up with that influence, and it's in the gene pool. Actually, his father was also an IBO titleist in Australia, along with being Filipino champ. Again, he's looking to carry it into his generation and carry on the family's tradition. He's got a tough opponent to do it in front of tonight. He thinks he's ready at 23 years old. It's a very good fight between two young prospects. Very rare to see a matchup like this.
Ladies and gentlemen, this opening attraction of the evening, sanctioned for 4 rounds by the Office of the Ontario Athletics Commissioner in the super featherweight division. This entire event is being presented by Tyler Buxton's United Boxing Promotions, live from the sold-out Pickering Casino Resort. This opening attraction of the evening is presented by Proper 12 Irish Whiskey, the undisputed, undefeated king of whiskey. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He wears the green with the blue trunks. He weighed in at an even 128 pounds flat. His record as a professional, an exceptional one. 3 victories against 1 defeat. De Querétaro, Mexico, presentando Jorge Chapu Diaz. And now introducing his opponent, fighting across the ring out of the red corner. He wears the white with the gold trunks. He scaled an even 129 pounds. His record as a professional, a perfect one. 2 fights, 2 victories, including 1 big one by way of knockout. The former Canadian junior national champion from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, representing his Filipino roots, the son of a world champion. He is Michael Cabato. Your referee in charge in his very first pro bout, Mr. Ibrahim Kemahl, 8-time national amateur champion, with your final instructions.
I went over the rules in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Remember, keep your heads up and obey my commands at all times. That line here is good. That line here is good. Touch gloves. Best luck.
Getting things underway, a super featherweight bout. Michael Cabato in the white trunks, Jorge Diaz in the neon green trunks. And Tony, a 4-round fight, this super featherweight contest. Does that make a difference in the approach of either of these fighters?
Absolutely. They don't have too much time to waste time. It can't be too long of a feeling-out process. Two rounds go in the bank. That's already half the fight done. So they can't waste any time. They got to make sure they're nice and warm before they get in that ring so they can get to work.
Feel the buzz, feel the energy in this crowd as well. Saturday night, Pickering Casino Resort, and our first bout of the evening.
I like Cabato's body language so far. Coming in, he's working behind the double, triple jab, touching the body early, commanding center of the ring. He's not even looking at the head right now, just targeting the body right now. It's a sign of, you don't see that too often from a young 2-0 prospect already.
Cabato staying out of the range of Diaz as well, though takes a bit of a jab there to the right eye.
It's good. The reason he's landed that right, he's been looking for that last couple of...
Oh,
nice
huge.
Double hook.
Huge from Cabato. Instructions from the corner to step on it, perhaps recognizing they have a fighter that might be wounded.
Well, right now, Cabato just seems, he's just a little sturdier on his feet, a little more solid. Well, could also be seeing a little bit more of the physical maturity with the age difference. He's 23 to his Diaz is 18. A little more solid on his feet, settled. Taking him back to the ropes. From there, step back and punch now. Create some room to punch and work.
Break called for by the official. Cabato staying busy, not just accepting the clinch that he had against the ropes. Make sure to get some extra shots in wherever he can.
He did a nice double hook off the jab there. Very nice.
Cabato just first off, seeming to be the first one off on all these exchanges.
It's off to a good start. Good avoiding the punch there, backing out of range, using his feet. He's got a habit, though, of pulling straight back. That's fine now while his legs and reflexes are still sharp. You know, as the fight drags on, when fatigue settles in, I wouldn't be depending on pulling straight back to that every time.
The gas tank in a 4-round fight, though, less time to deplete, right?
That is true, but I guess I'm thinking long term, right? If he's looking to take his career to the next level, these are habits you want to iron out now, sooner than later.
Absolutely. You're talking about a 2-0 fighter who's obviously in the very early stages of his career. You want to establish those building blocks to
absolutely
develop yourself into a well-rounded fighter.
It's harder to break those habits if they get ingrained to you know, the older you get.
Head movement there from Cabato, just ducking and dodging. And look at this, against the ropes, able to elude all of these punches and crack back. Very impressive there at the end of the round from Cabato. Showed the offense early in the round, showed the defense very well in those last few seconds.
The Diaz's defense, him coming on strong after those early exchanges, taking punishment, seems like the type of fighter who soaks up that punishment and just keeps hard charging, walking you down. Fight could be interesting in the 3rd and 4th rounds.
Here's a look at the end of the round. It's just a head movement here against the ropes. Cabato unable to crack back with an overhand right. Safe to say, give Cabato the edge in that first round, in your opinion?
Absolutely. He showed his talent. He commanded control from the outset. Took control of the center of the ring, landed the cleaner blows. Showed the better ring generalship.
Certainly was the busier fighter early. Was active, showed good range, and showed good head movement at the end of the round. So round 2 of 4 now, set to get underway. And in such a short fight as far as the round goes, 4 rounds, does perhaps knowing you're down 1, does that put some urgency in the camp of Diaz, recognizing that?
Absolutely, and Diaz also strikes me as the type that now he seems like he's warmed up now. Some guys need to feel that contact a little bit to wake up, and then they start soaking it up and gaining momentum, and I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of Diaz yet early in this fight.
Well, already looked stronger early in this second round than he did in the first. A much better start to this round.
Cabato so far has shown that he's the more talented, dynamic fighter. Definitely flashier, throws the more crowd-friendly, eye-catching punches, but he has to be consistent. He has to be consistent and not let Diaz overwhelm him with his work rate. Because I like how Diaz now is fighting off the balls of his feet. He's reacting much better when he's in a little rhythm. And he hasn't gotten hit with any of those clean shots he took early in that first round.
Perhaps the urgency is on full display here. Wow, a huge right hand there from Cabato.
Both nearly. Oh, nice right hand by Diaz there in that exchange.
Cabato seemed to take it well, smiles, though that can often mean he felt it.
Well, things are starting to heat up.
They definitely are, and you talked about this fight being the first of the evening and having the potential to steal the show. I think we're seeing it here in this second round.
Absolutely, and we're already seeing tides of momentum. Diaz is starting to find his range.
Most definitely is. Punches and bunches as well.
He's
no one and done.
Absolutely. Fighting out of a good rhythm, working behind his jab now. Oh, nice
Solid
body shot in that exchange.
Hear that
Absolutely.
thunderous blow.
I have a strong feeling that a kid like Diaz, willing to come here and travel on the road at this early stage in his career at 18 years old, is someone who had a tough upbringing, wasn't babied in the gym. I'm sure he's exposed to a lot of hard iron sparring back home.
Well, the Mexican fighting spirit has a reputation for a reason.
And he's living up to it.
He definitely
in the
is,
second
especially
round.
after being down 1. Oh, and a hard left hand there from Cabato. Saw the eyes open up just a little bit there of Jorge Diaz with things going so well from him.
But Cabato's got to be consistent, though. One punch doesn't win the round. There's too many attacks like that where they go unanswered. That's what he's got to do. More of that. Return the fire.
Final 10 seconds.
Don't be content with just making the guy miss. You gotta land.
What an entertaining round. These two young men have come to fight. We talked about the prospects wanting to put on display their skills, and they have done that early. We are off to a great start here on this boxing card.
And we got the best seat in the house, man.
We most definitely do. I told you I couldn't wait to hear the first time that leather popped, and it didn't take long. In this second round, we certainly heard a lot of leather popping as well. How do you score that one? Diaz a solid response in that second round.
I do think Diaz did enough to edge that round. Again, I thought Cabato landed some good eye-catching blows, but not enough, not consistent enough. They're only in spots. I think in that round, Diaz's work rate and volume carried the day.
2 rounds complete on a 4-round fight, so still plenty to be decided, plenty to be determined. We see into the corner of Diaz getting some last-second instructions. Cabato's off his stool, and the second round was so good. I can't wait to get this third round underway. Here we go. Cabato establishing the jab early. Nice left hook as well.
Well, Diaz has to be careful. Sometimes he's walking into those jabs because he overcommits and leans too much on that front foot when he lunges in, and that's where Cabato has his chance to nail him. Because Cabato's fighting off that back foot. So he creates that extra few inches of space where that guy has to reach in, and that's where you can walk him into some counters. Nice right hand, though, by Diaz right there.
Is fighting off the back foot perhaps something to try to control range? What would be the reason that fighting off the back foot?
Exactly. It's controlling range. It forces the guy to reach in a little bit because you're creating some space, more space between you and your opponent without even having to move your feet. It's just a matter of shifting your body weight back. Those were nice little double chop right hand landed there by Diaz.
Yeah, Cabato a few seconds earlier had cracked him, and he cracks right back.
No, it just landed a 3 or 4 punch combo right there, and again following up.
No shortage of action in this opening bout.
Listen, if I'm Cabato right now, I wouldn't be relying on having home court advantage. This is a nice double hook, but he's got to follow up and do more. He can't take too long in between exchanges to get back to work again. He can't fall in love with his attacks. He's got to keep it up and stay consistent. Don't give the ball back to Diaz again.
More aggressiveness, not being so one and done with those solid connections.
100%.
Following up and taking advantage of perhaps an opponent who's just taken a heavy strike. Diaz is throwing with intention as well, but out of the clinch comes Cabato with a few solid shots as well. Just missed with that right.
Well, my gut told me that this could be a great opener to the show that could get everyone's attention, and so far they're living up to the bill.
Most definitely is. Everything seems to be thrown with bad intentions. No exchanges seem like they're just dipping their gloves in the water, so to say.
Well, you know, when you're 23 and 18, you can shake off these punches.
Fearlessness, perhaps, as well.
Fearlessness.
Young in your career.
Absolutely. Ignorance is bliss.
This is it. And it makes for a great show for all of us.
Absolutely.
Cabato now trying to keep that head out of range. Diaz looking to find a home, but the head movement again of Cabato eludes the punches. Nice body shot there from Diaz.
Cabato has landed the cleaner blows this round. It just took a right hand right there. This is where boxing gets so subjective, because I'm seeing one guy in Diaz who's more consistent and throwing more punches, dictating the pace. But then Cabato comes and lands flashy combos like that ruins you know, whatever work that Diaz was working so hard at accomplishing.
Well, perhaps these boxers both recognizing the closeness of the round, because the clap of the 10 seconds certainly sent them both into a frenzy, throwing at each other. That was an action-packed round as well. It's been a good one through 3. Still one more round to go. Tough round to score.
That's so far the toughest round to score for me on my scorecard. I'm gonna lean towards Cabato on that one. I think that's the case of quality over quantity.
There's a look at some of the combinations put together by Diaz, and you had referenced it during the round, not being just one and done and getting out of range from Cabato. Diaz is perhaps the better fighter as far as putting those combinations together in round number 3.
That's right.
One round to go. This fight very much still up in the air.
Only one round to go. You know, this type of fight, I wish we had more rounds.
Touch of gloves here before we get underway in this final round, and a fantastic fight to get us started here at Pickering Casino Resort. United Boxing Promotions. We've put a stellar card here together, and this first fight, perhaps an indication of things to come. Lots to be determined here in this 4th and final round. Cabato
nice
cracks with the right hand.
Oh, he's looking for it again. No, but don't look for the same thing. Don't show your hand. Set it up. Give him something else to look at. Give him the left hand. Go to the body. Double out. Give him some feints. Then bring that right hand again. One thing I like about Diaz, though, even if he does come up short tonight and doesn't walk away with a W, the instinct, he has great instincts. Even when he gets hit, he always tries to come back. It leaves an impression on the judge that he never gives up control. He never gives up control. He's always coming forward because he's always trying to return. Even if he gets hit, something's coming back all the time.
Diaz is taking the center of the ring here in this
He's always in position
round as well.
Exactly. He's always in position to throw back.
Hard right hand, perhaps the left hand up just in time from Cabato to take most of the force of that blow, and he goes to the body.
And you know, this is what Cabato, he was doing it in the first round early to the body and he got away from it, but he's trying it again. He should have been dedicating to the body early. Sometimes with a pressure fighter like Diaz, who comes forward, constant body punches sometimes, slows down a pressure fighter. Oh, Cabato's really finding his range now.
That was a stiff jab, snapped the head back at Diaz, drew a big reaction from the crowd as well as the sweat flies.
But it all started with the body. Once he started targeting the body again, then bringing his attack upstairs, good things started happening.
Well, and that's the importance of mixing things up, right? Like you said, these boxers are obviously quick to learn what you're going to. You want to mix things up and give them different looks.
And a guy like Diaz, it saps his energy. Typically, a guy like Diaz, who's one to give one to take one, he's got a good chin, and he knows that. May not take it as well to the body. That'll slow him down and take away his legs.
Into the final minute here, the 4th and final round. Great fight to get things started here in Pickering.
Let's go. Feint.
Oh, a
nice.
huge right hand followed up with a left as well by Cabato.
Took his head out to slip. Oh,
Left
shook him
puts
with
him
that
against the
hook.
rope.
Oh, my God.
Right, left. Cabato now. Does he have Diaz wounded? Throws it right in another left.
He found a spot there. Now 1, 2, 3, takes his head out on that right hand and he turns over that hook.
A little wobbly on the legs is Diaz. Can Cabato close the show here? Body
He's looking
head.
for his body every time he starts at the body.
Listen
Good
for the
things
clap.
happen.
The final 10 seconds. Does this send Cabato in for the kill? Strong finish in the 4th round here from Cabato. What a fight to get this party started.
Great early fight for both guys. Cabato really, he made an adjustment, adapted to the work rate of Diaz and assumed control back again of the fight, finishing strong. But Diaz, though, I don't think it's the last we're going to hear of him. He's a tough kid. He can learn from this, and if he goes back home and surrounds himself with good people, a good support team, and the right management, I still think he's young enough to come back and make some noise in the sport.
There's lots to be determined in that 4th round, but about halfway through, Michael Cabato really took control, had Diaz wounded, had him wobbled against the ropes, and that'll leave a great impression on the judges heading to the end of that round.
100%, 100%.
Like you said, a great showing, Jorge Diaz, 18 years old. Querétaro, Mexico, traveling to Canada to take on a fellow up-and-coming prospect in Michael Cabato. Not an easy task for Diaz either. He has to be full marks for his performance.
And 100%, very valiant, a lot of heart. And I like to know, I like to ask these people after if I catch them, they call him Chapu back home. And I Googled that, Google Translate, and there's no translation for Chapu. So I'd like to know what that means and where that came from.
So look at Diaz. Great showing from him. Great opening bout. First of 5 fights we have on the card here tonight, and if they're all as good as that or better, we are in for one heck of a night. You said it off the top. This could be the fight that steals the show. It 100% delivered.
Absolutely. They left some big shoes to fill, these little guys, for the fights upcoming. And you know, I'm looking at Diaz's face right now on the camera. This is the beauty of being only 18. He took some hard, clean shots tonight, and no worse for wear. He's not wearing on his face, neither is Cabato. Great performance by Cabato. I think he's got a lot of natural ability. And can't wait to see more of him.
Oh, it's good to be young, right? Perhaps not showing those battle wounds just yet. Listen, Michael Cabato came out strong in that first round. Had a great first round. Nice pushback from Jorge Diaz in the second, but I think Cabato did a good job of staying composed, not panicking. It's a short fight. You lose a round, you might start to panic, but he did a good job of being composed, and bringing things home down the stretch.
100%.
Good show of respect at the center of the ring, and we're ready for Carlos Verde and the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after an entertaining 4 rounds, we will go to the judges' scorecards. But first off, let's have a round of applause for both Michael Cabato and Jorge Diaz. Judge Jasper Kajavsky scores the bout 40-36, Cabato. Judge Deborah Wong scores the bout 38-38. And Judge Alan Davis scores the bout 38-38. We have a majority draw in our opening bout of the evening.
Corner
there you have
Michael
it.
Cabato, a draw, a majority draw.
One more time, let's have a nice round of applause for Michael Cabato and Jorge
we can't
Diaz.
take anything away from these fighters. I know sometimes a draw can leave a bit of a sour taste. An unbelievable opening bout. But perhaps, I think everybody expected it, perhaps 3 rounds to 1 for Cabato. Your thoughts on that scorecard?
I personally had it 3 rounds to 1, but I'm telling you, I'm not going to argue a draw, because I said this fight is subjective. There was a swing round in there on my scorecard where I wasn't sure, and I leaned towards Cabato, but it depends what you like. Every judge has their preferences. You know, some guys are going to favor the cleaner punching by Cabato. Others are going to favor the volume and work rate and who's carrying the pace and dictating the flow of the bout, and that was Diaz, and that's what we got tonight.
Well, regardless of the result, a spectacular fight to get things started. I mean, we're only 1 fight in. The viewers at home, the fans in this building, already getting their worth out of this fight card.
And the good news is that they can always run it back, and we can get to call it again, and maybe this time
I would sign up to see tomorrow.
And sometimes an evenly matched bout like this on paper, let's make it a 6-rounder next time, so we can have a more definitive ending.
I think we had 2 more rounds in both of these fighters. Like you said, they both looked fresh. Yes, there were some battles that they were showing, but they were ready to go. Time to move on to our next fight. Kemahl Russell, Marcos Cornejo, and this is a fight that is very intriguing for a couple different reasons, but perhaps most of all, a return after a lengthy absence from Kemahl Russell.
Yes, Kemahl's been off for 5 years, coming back at 34 years old. Very tough thing to do at this stage of his career. Something.
Well, we're ready to go. Let's keep this party rolling. Carlos Verde really ready to get this going.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our second attraction of the evening, sanctioned for 8 rounds in the super middleweight division between 2 men who can pack a punch. Please welcome to the arena first, all the way from Argentina, it is Marcos El Indio Cornejo.
Todavía yo no he visto a nadie que tenga la cosa que tengo yo, tú me entiendes. Una cosa, vaya, que yo nací con eso.
Pero ¿qué es lo que tú tienes? Vamos a ver.
Es una cosa que te lo digo, que no lo puedo ni explicar, ¿sabes? Porque una cosa entre acá, que cuando estoy...
Marcos Cornejo making his way to the ring, fighting out of Buenos Aires, Argentina. And this is a fight that has the potential with two knockout punchers to be a good one.
Absolutely, and starting with Cornejo, making his way to the ring. A big puncher. He's a road warrior. He's not going to be affected by the hometown crowd. He's well-traveled. He's fought Europe, Australia, Trinidad, now Canada. His stoppage losses he suffered in 2018 were, in no shame, losing to Christian Mbili, who's a regional belt holder in Canada on his way to a world title, and Tim Zhu, who's also on his way to world title contention on 154. He's coming off a 2-year layoff and a 5-fight losing streak, though. So this is a real pivotal moment for him at this point of his career. It's now or never. I also found he's got a big right hand, and I found he's got a record 19 wins and 6 losses. But on one of those, a 20th win that went undocumented in Argentina, because the one fight I found of him, and it's definitely him, is not on BoxRec.
Oh, there you go. That's the type of research that makes you the best. Getting us ready for this fight, and we talked about the youngsters or the prospects.
And now the arena, fighting out of the red corner, coming all the way from Kingston, Jamaica. Here is Kemahl, the Hitman Russell.
Now Kemahl Russell making his way to the ring, and we saw two prospects, two youngsters, up-and-comers in the first fight, 18 and 23 years old. There's a lot of veteran experience in this matchup. Cornejo, 41 years of age. Kemahl Russell, 34, but the talking point with Russell is the 5-year layoff that he's breaking here tonight.
5-year layoff, coming back at 34. That's no easy feat. Let's see what he can do. It's one thing when you're sparring in the gym and hitting the bag, and another when you're doing it under the bright lights and putting your body through a whole training camp again after 5 years away from the ring. It's a big defining moment for him tonight. But up until the layoff, he was on a good run. He's a former Jamaica Contender Series champion back in 2015. He was also a former NABF junior middleweight champ, on his way to a world title shot until he suffered his only loss against eventual 3-time world title challenger Sergey Devrchenko. So definitely no shame in that one loss. He's trying to come back and regain some momentum again. It's a big middleweight, 6 foot, 73-inch reach, with 11 knockouts out of his 13 wins. I think this has the recipe for a very, very exciting fight with some fireworks here tonight in our second bout of the evening.
Yeah, we could see some big blows landed here with some knockout potential, and the nervous energy we'll have to keep an eye on in the first round for Kemahl Russell. It's been a 5-year build-up. This return is something that he's been striving for so long. How do you balance that excitement and those nerves? We'll throw it to Carlos Verde.
Second attraction of the evening, sanctioned for 8 rounds in the super middleweight division, and it's all being brought to you by Tyler Buxton's United Boxing Promotions, live from the sold-out Pickering Casino Resort. Your judges for this 8-round super middleweight contest at ringside, Mr. Jasper Kajavsky, Mr. Jeremy Hayes, and Mr. Martin DeLita. Your referee, the third man inside the squared circle when the punches fly, the former Canadian and Commonwealth champion, Mr. Donovan Boucher. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he wears the white and blue of his native Argentina. He scaled 164.5 pounds. His record as a professional, a powerful one. 19 victories against 6 defeats, with 18 of those 19 wins coming by big way of knockout. The former WBC middleweight youth title challenger, de Morón, Buenos Aires, Argentina, he is Marcos El Indio Cornejo. And now his opponent across the ring in the red corner. He wears the black with the green and gold of his native Jamaica. He scaled 164.2 pounds. His record, a punishing, powerful one. 13 victories, 1 defeat, 11 big wins coming by way of knockout. The former NABF junior middleweight champion from Kingston, Jamaica, he is Kemahl, the Hitman Russell. And now with your final instructions, the former Canadian and Commonwealth champion, referee Donovan Boucher.
Yes, gentlemen, I gave you the pre-fight instructions in the changing room. Listen to my command at all times. Most importantly, protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves, and good luck to both of you.
Kemahl Russell, in just a few short seconds, will end a 5-year absence from the ring. 13-1 with 11 KOs. The potential for fireworks is there in this bout.
Man, it's always tense in the first round with two big punches because both of them know. They both know one mistake can change everything. We may not see a whole lot in the first round other than a lot of intense posturing.
Well, an 8-round fight as well, so some time to work with.
Got some time.
For Russell, perhaps just getting back into the groove in this first round as well, and getting the feel for the ring, getting the feel for the range, the opponent as well. Although Cornejo probably has other ideas in mind,
stuck one around the guard
indicated by that right hand.
Well, another thing with the hitman, Kemahl, is, you know, as you age, and this is something I experienced through my career, was my skills didn't fade, but my ability to recover and handle the wear and tear of training did. You know, injuries was something I was plagued with towards the end of my career, and it slowed me down. And so that's something that happened. That Kemahl obviously suffered that in 2019. He's trying to come back and defy the odds.
Talk about the commitment as well, though, by Kemahl to overcome such a tough situation, a tough injury, and put in all that work. I mean, I'm sure there are days where you just want to say enough is enough, but Kemahl Russell, not that type of person, not that type of fighter.
Well, he's working through those demons right now.
Exactly.
But I will say that Cornejo is not making it easy for him. He's here to fight tonight, and he hasn't taken one inch backwards so far. Nobody's landed anything clean just yet.
Keep your legs, keep your legs, keep your legs nice and smooth.
Russell pawing with that left before coming through with the right.
I'd like to see him throw, you know, that pawing job. I'd like to see it be more of a forceful, snappy job. Put a little more weight behind it, so it won't be so easy to time, because it does come back low, and it's a good opportunity for a guy like Cornejo, who can also punch. Catch him coming back like that.
Tracking blow on the right, and the pawing jab slow going out, probably slow coming back in. Right opens the door, opens the window for your opponent.
Exactly. So put a little more snap on that jab. You know what? That's a good weapon for Cornejo right there. That's twice now he lands a cuffing right hook around the guard.
Russell trying to respond with much of the same.
If I'm Russell, I want to keep that left hand up, shell up when he's standing in front of Cornejo, because Cornejo is looking for that overhand hook around the guard, and he's touched it a couple times.
Final 10 seconds, opening round of 8 in this super middleweight bout. All Russell, Marcus Cornejo. Fairly even round after one between these two fighters.
Very, very competitive, even round. You know, the unpopular vote, my scorecard is going to lean slightly towards Cornejo in that round. I do think he landed a little bit more. I like he found a good weapon with that right hook around the guard. When there's not much else there to separate the two, that's where I'm going with for Cornejo in that early first round.
Very close, very tough round to score. Cornejo perhaps recognizing the shelling up the guard of Russell and finding a way to get around it, like you said, putting that right hand around the guard. If there's no room up the middle, look for a home for it around the guard.
Exactly. More than one way to skin a cat.
Exactly, yes, correct. Very active corner there by Kemahl Russell.
I do think Kemahl has a little more options with his skill set. He can do a little bit more. So I'd like to see him not be so stationary, but a little bit more lateral movement. The balls of his feet. Just give him, you don't have to be Sugar Ray Leonard in there, but just give him a little bit more side to side. Force Cornejo to have to turn a little bit. Don't just stand right in front and make it easy for him to get shots off.
A wry smile from Russell at the start of round number 2. You know he's feeling good being back in that ring.
Yes. There we go. A little more side steps, a little more side to side. Give him some different looks, different pictures.
Bounce in the step as opposed to flat-footed.
Stuck an uppercut in there. And a right hand, 1, 2, 3.
A little wobbly here, Cornejo. And Russell smells blood. Coming in, big right hand as well. Cornejo staggered.
And he's smiling, he's feeling it.
This is what he's missed for the past 5 years.
Oh, nice uppercut.
Splits the guard up the middle.
If I'm Kemahl, though, I still want to have a little bit of caution because Cornejo can still punch. And sometimes punches like Cornejo, when they're hurt, that's when they're dangerous.
You see the confidence doesn't take long to come back into the flow of Russell, but Cornejo maybe has caught his bearings here. Certainly on wobbly legs for a bit.
If I'm Kemahl, I don't want to get too cocky. You know, he's catcalling now. He's cooing to the crowd and got his hands down, but this fight is still very early.
Round 2 of 8, but Russell has found a home for that uppercut, splitting the guard.
Yeah, it's Cornejo. To Cornejo's credit, you know, he's losing this round, but he is showing poise under pressure. He's responding well to the adversity, and he's not defenseless. He's still in this fight. If I'm Kemahl, go back to what took you there. Get back behind that jab, double up, more lateral movement. That'll set up the big shots.
Russell like a predator
nice
coming in.
He's not listening to me, but he's getting the work done anyway.
He most definitely is, and he's getting some quality shots off, and now with a few words,
nice
as well
shot.
as that rip to the body. You can just feel it.
Well, you know, that's what you do when you get a guy on the ropes, because when the guy gets on the ropes, instinctively he's going to put his hands up, right? Get to that body. You bring that guard down, then the head opens up. Russell's in a good groove now. He's found his, you know what, the rust is shaking off. He's in a good little rhythm.
Well, it's a great round to get the confidence back, because I'm sure as confident as all these fighters are in themselves with a 5-year layoff, you just have maybe that little inkling of what might happen when you get back in there. This has been a fantastic round for Russell.
You know, when I see a fighter go down,
knockdown?
No knockdown, just a push. But when I see a fighter loses balance like that, I never think it's a good sign. I always think it's a sign of fatigue. His strength is waning, and it's pretty early in the fight to be losing your balance like that.
There's some blood coming out of the mouth of Cornejo as well, as they give a nod to each other on their way back to the corner. And Russell, if the first round was about knocking the rust off, the second round was about knocking his opponent off kilter, as he got through with some cracking blows, specifically uppercuts up the middle, seemed to find a home.
But now, though, Cornejo got out of it.
Right.
Cornejo got out of it, he survived. Now we're going to a new round, 60 seconds to recuperate. We still got 6 more rounds to go. There could be an adrenaline dump now. Sometimes you get a guy hurt, you can't put him away, and now we're back on the, gotta start all over again. That can stop a guy's strength sometimes too. And then Cornejo could regain momentum and come back. This is still very much fight's not in the bag just yet.
Exactly, and managing that gas tank is important as well. An 8-round fight, only 2 in the books. Cornejo comes out with a looping right hand.
Yeah. That's his weapon tonight. That seems to be his weapon of choice, where he seems to feel like he can find some success. I like what Hitman's doing now, though. He's changing levels, dipping his body up and down, working up and down.
Not one and done either. Cornejo, good job of getting off the ropes there, as Russell is throwing punches in 3s and 4s.
Well, Russell seems to, you know, he seems to have adapted to the resistance of Cornejo. Even if that looping right hand does touch him now, he seems to have warmed up to it and not shy away from it, and hasn't stopped him from stepping up his attacks coming in.
Soft warning from the official there, perhaps something that just on the belt line or just below.
Yeah.
Russell now following up. A few punches, deep breath, and deep exhale from Cornejo, but
the pace
strikes back.
The pace has slowed down a little bit, but now Russell's starting to sit on his punches a little more, though, and he's attacking those flanks downstairs now, taking the wind out of the sails of Cornejo, and we're seeing it because Cornejo's output has dropped this round. And he's spending more time on the ropes. He's retreating for the first time all night so far in this fight. We're starting to see, I think Russell's former pedigree is starting to really shine now in this round.
Like riding a bike, I'm sure. It's
like riding a bike, man.
It's all coming back. Russell doing a good job mixing up head and body as well. Talked about it in round number 2. The natural inclination is to guard up and protect the head. Well, that's when against the ropes you rip the body. Home there for that punch.
Yeah,
Did Russell.
And I'm not liking Cornejo's body language right now. He just took a big gasp of air.
Yep.
And he's not responding. He's not shaking off these punches. He's hurt right now.
Yeah, and Russell recognizes, avoids any clinch opportunity as well, wants that separation and perhaps an opportunity to put it on Cornejo down the final 30 seconds of this round.
Well, the thing with when you have a fight like this with two big punchers, it's not always about just who hits harder, but who takes it better. And right now we're seeing that one guy can take it a little better than the other.
Yeah, the exhales are certainly deep from Cornejo. Some cheeks puffed out, some big breaths.
I really like the way he sets up that left hook to the body. He picks his head up, picks his opponent's head up on the nose with that uppercut through the guard, and then he brings that left hook around the elbow. It's a good combination for him, and it's making a difference in this fight.
Strong round there from Kemahl. Russell. Cornejo needs this 60 seconds to regain his composure, regain his breath. As we get a look into the corner of Hitman Russell, follows up an excellent second round with a strong third round as well.
And he's got a strong cornerman too, Ryan Grant, the famous Grant Brothers fighting family in Canada, runs his gym in Toronto. He's a good trainer, he's been around. His older brothers were world champions and Olympians, in Howard and Otis Grant, and he comes from good stock. He's an asset in anyone's corner. So Russell's in good hands.
Love that moment in the third round where Russell didn't accept the clinch. You know, that Cornejo wanted a bit of a breather, wanted a bit of a break, and was looking to get in and tie things up. Russell said, not right now, backs up, gives space, and gives an opportunity to get him back against the ropes and get some more punches off down the final 30 seconds of that round.
And that's a sign of his experience, his experience shining through. Knowing how to fend off a guy who is trying to clinch and slow down the pace. There's a pattern here with Cornejo.
Coming out strong, always throwing that first punch and a looping one at that.
It's a deadly bull rushes him there, but yeah, there's 2 rounds in a row now where he comes out guns blazing like that, winging that right hook.
Well, and maybe can Russell make an adjustment here, recognizing perhaps the gas tank problems that we saw towards the end of round number 3, and perhaps let him come out strong?
Well, what we saw in the last round, and we may see again in this round, is Russell weathers that early onslaught, doesn't take too many clean shots. He makes the guy miss, and then he starts going to work, and Cornejo slows down. And that's discouraging for a guy like Cornejo who believes in his power, and he can't find a target to unleash his power. Because, when you're hitting air, you waste a lot more energy when you're throwing and hitting air than you are when you make contact. Even if the guy blocks it on the arms or the gloves, it's still fatiguing, depleting the guy's strength. It's his body. When you're hitting air, it takes the wind out of your sails and slows you down.
Demoralizing as well.
Exactly. It's mental as much as physical.
Any energy wasted cannot be gotten back.
We've got the doctor ringside right now. Doctor's ringside calling for the ref.
We stop in this fight? Corner stoppage?
We have a stoppage. Cornerman stoppage.
Cornerman says that's enough. So Kemahl Russell, maybe not the way that he expected it to happen, but gets the W.
It's a little bizarre. I mean, we did see Russell was gradually wearing him down, taking control of the fight, breaking Cornejo down, but I still thought Cornejo deserved a chance to fight. He wasn't helpless. I still thought he was trying. But you know what? His corner knows him better than us.
Right.
They see him in the gym every day. Maybe there's something they know about him that we don't.
Right.
And they didn't like the direction the fight was going, and trainer has a responsibility to, sometimes as fighters we have to be safe from ourselves, and that's what a corner is for.
Perhaps recognizing that, okay, go out the start of round number 4, do that bull rush, give that first attempt. If that doesn't work out, then perhaps look at stopping the fight. That's what ends up happening. No towel thrown in. Is that not a thing anymore, throwing the towel into the ring, or is that frowned upon in any way as a visual?
I think some commissions don't allow it anymore, but some corner guys will still do it anyway.
Yeah.
But in this case, this trainer decided to do the textbook way, brought the doctor, bring some physician up ringside.
Well, it just took an extra 10, 15 seconds to get the referee's attention, right?
That's why some trainers prefer just throwing in that towel.
Exactly.
Because you can't miss that.
Well,
you can't miss a bloody white towel.
There was some leakage from the mouth in round 3, so it was a bloody white towel, but it's loud in here. There's a buzz. There's an atmosphere. It's tough. The referee's focused on the two fighters as well, not expecting a call from the corner, so sometimes that towel can be an easier indicator and perhaps stop things
100%. And in some cases, I won't say in this case, but in some cases it can save a fighter's life because, you know, a lot can happen in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You know?
So Kemahl Russell, a successful return to the ring, gets his record back to up to 14-1, and a first round that was perhaps a little bit of a feeling out process, but rounds 2, 3, and 4, all Kemahl Russell.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is over. The time of the stoppage, 1:29 of round 4. In favor of your winner via TKO, Kemahl, the Hitman Russell.
Kemahl Hitman Russell, victorious, 4th round stoppage, TKO in the books.
And more importantly, I think he conquered a lot of demons tonight.
Yes. What's going through his mind right now? 5 years away from the boxing ring, steps back in. This has to feel good.
Oh, huge sense of accomplishment. And only looking up from here, I think he got a huge weight lifted off his shoulders, and now we keep moving forward.
Look at some of the action, and you just saw a smile come onto the face of Kemahl Russell as well. The first round, getting back into the ring, getting back into the groove. When round number 2 started, I noticed a smirk on the face of Kemahl Russell, a smile, almost just so happy to be back in there. He's home. That's a great way to put it. And he made himself at home in rounds 2, 3, and ultimately round 4.
And you can see there was some jitters. The first couple rounds, you know, and then like only 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out. 3rd, 4th round came on. Hey, oh yeah, I remember. I did live here.
That's exactly right. We're going to take a quick break, but might need to reinforce this ring since we got the big boys coming up. Quick break. We'll be right back for more United Boxing Promotions.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
It's closing time, and you stayed out longer than you planned. So now you can't drive, and the buses have stopped running. You could always call your girlfriend. Or maybe your roommate? What about your best friend? You could just dial 1-888-TAXI-GUY or use the Taxi Guy app. The call and the app are free, and they both connect you to a local cab company to bring you home safely. Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober.
Hi, I'm Sean Lackey, and this is Sold with Sean Lackey. You should check us out if you want to find out what's going on in the world of real estate. We'll have all sorts of guests to keep you in the loop on what's going on in this wonderful world.
Back at Pickering Casino Resort, United Boxing Promotions with an action-packed card here tonight. Kemahl Russell with an impressive performance there. Real quick on that fight, you wanted to get a quick point in for Kemahl Russell.
Yes, you know what? I just do want to say it's a huge milestone. Him coming back after 5 years, 34 years old, successful comeback. Still has a hill to climb. 154 and 160 are very deep divisions, you know. But tonight, savor the victory.
Time to move on to the big boys. Ricardo Brown, Angel Nerio. Let's get this action started. The big boys are coming to play.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to bring out the heavyweight attraction. 6 rounds or less in the heavyweight division, presented by Tyler Buxton's United Boxing Promotions. Please welcome to the arena first, fighting out of the blue corner, all the way from Mexico, it's Jesus Dandy Nerio.
Well, the big boys have come to play. Are you ready, Tony? Because this is perhaps the fight on the card. You mentioned the opener being able to steal the show. I've got a soft spot for the heavyweights, and these are 2 big boys that are making their way to the ring and ready to perform.
Well, listen, the big boys, the heavyweights, provide the highlight reels. And tonight, I'm looking at Jesus Nerio as he's coming in. Is this highlight reel going to happen at his expense? Because, you know, I'm looking at this guy, 5'11" heavyweight, but most of his career was fought at 160 and 168 up until 2017. Then he took a 3-year layoff and he came back suddenly as a heavyweight at 211 pounds. So he's been stopped 7 times. 2 of his stoppage losses were against, you know, world champions Ryota Murata and Jose Uzgatagui, but again, those guys are middleweights. He's now in the heavyweight division tonight.
And now entering the arena, the electrifying, undefeated Jamaican Ricardo, Big 12 Brown.
Jesus Nerio has a big hill to climb in the form of Ricardo Brown, and numbers don't lie. The stat line for Ricardo Brown is flat out impressive.
Well, listen, that hill is exactly 6 feet 7 inches. And, you know, Big 12 Ricardo Brown, 6-0, perfect 6 knockouts. Jamaican Olympian back in 2000. His last bout, he knocked out his first undefeated opponent, 4-0, back in January right here at the Pickering Casino. And he's also shut off, he's a little lighter. Took off some pounds for this fight compared to his last one. His last fight in January came in at a career high 264 pounds. They decided amongst his team for this camp that bigger isn't always better, and he came in a little lighter at 257. See if that makes a difference tonight. What I'm looking from Ricardo, we know he's big, we know he has power, and he can produce highlight reel knockouts if he lands. I want to see, he's yet to be past the 3rd round yet, and I'd like to see how he carries his power the longer a fight goes, and what else he has in the toolbox once he gets past that 3rd round. Let's see if we'll find that out tonight.
Slated for 6 rounds in the heavyweight division. Jesus Nerio, can he push it past the 3rd round and test Ricardo Brown? Like you say, we're about to find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, this 3rd attraction of the evening, slated for 6 rounds or less in the heavyweight division, and it's being brought to you by Tyler Buxton's United Boxing Promotions, here live from the sold-out Pickering Casino Resort. This heavyweight attraction is also presented by Verde Alliance, the undisputed king of concrete solutions. Your judges for this contest, seated at ringside, Deborah Wong, Jeremy Hayes, and Martin DeLita. Your referee, the 3rd man in the ring when the punches fly, the former Canadian Olympian, Mr. Mark Simmons. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he wears the black with the gold trunks. He weighed in at 224.5 pounds. His record as a professional, 15 victories against 10 defeats, with 1 draw, 6 wins coming by big way of knockout. The former WBC heavyweight silver title challenger de Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico. Damas y caballeros, ladies and gentlemen, here is Jesus Dandy Nerio. And now, a man who needs no introduction, fighting out of the red corner. He wears the black with the green and gold of his native Jamaica. He scaled an impressive 257.5 pounds. His record as a professional, a perfect one. 6 fights, 6 victories, all 6 coming by big way of knockout. The Olympian and Pan Am Games bronze medalist, fighting from Spanish Town, Jamaica, here is the electrifying Ricardo Big 12 Brown. And now with your final instructions, the referee in charge, Mr. Mark Simmons.
Boxers, we went over the instructions in the dress room. Obey my commands at all time. Shorts are good here, shorts are good here. Touch gloves. Good luck to the both of you.
All set to get underway in the heavyweight division, 6 rounds or less. Ricardo Brown, 6'7", 6 fights, 6 wins, 6 KOs. Never been past the 3rd round. Is tonight the night? Jesus Nerio is the one who hopes it is.
Or do we get lucky number 7, KO?
Interesting, the height difference, 5'11" versus 6'7" for Nerio. He's going to have to enter that danger zone in the range of Brown if he wants to get in to be able to get his own shots off.
Oh,
right.
Well, there's 2 ways to fight a taller guy. You can either take it to him, get low, do Frazier style, and get inside his reach, or you can make the taller guy come to you and give up his reach on his own, and then walk him into shots. But you know, I really don't like the way this looks right now. For Nerio.
Nerio is certainly throwing back. I'll separate out of the clinch. Nerio going right back in. Stood up by the jab, the left. Ricardo Brown, and that's a blow, and look out, this one could be over shortly. Wobbly is Nerio. Brown now sensing the finish, coming in with an uppercut. Nerio against the ropes, clinching up, looking to catch his breath.
You know, it's my 2nd time watching Ricardo live, and you know, what I do know is that, okay, he hits like bricks, but I gotta see, hard body shots.
Yeah, the body shot,
the floating ribs.
The body shot is what did it. Count is at 5. Is he going to make it back up, or is this it? 8. This looks like it's it.
That's it.
That is over. Lucky number 7, like you said, Tony Lewis. Ricardo Brown put another one in the KO column and some push-ups to boot. Ricardo Brown gives the fans what they came to see. Full marks with that knockout power, and it did not take long.
It didn't, and you know what I want to see moving forward now for Brown. Look, he's 7-0. He's 33 years old. Doesn't want to waste too much more time. I know heavyweights don't age as quick as some other fighters. They don't have to worry about making weight as much, but he does want to move. I'd like to see him step up his level of opposition, is moving forward. Find a guy that can take it past the 3rd round, make him think a little bit, somebody who can deal with the power and force him to adjust and find other ways to win. I do want to see them moving forward, but there's no question that every time Ricardo Brown enters that ring and you come and see him, if he lands, you're gonna see some fireworks.
Well, it was finished with the body shot, but things really got started with that huge overhand. Full marks, Nerio trying to fight back in any way that he could, tried to clinch up, but there was the body shot.
Yes.
That body shot, the right, is what ultimately felled Nerio, and he stays down for the count. Ricardo Brown improves to 7-0, 7 KOs. Now is the time for an increase in quality of opponent, because he was just mowing through these opponents that have been put in front of him.
Absolutely, but you know, it makes for good highlights and looks good on paper, but for his development, he's not learning anything.
Right.
He's not learning anything. He's not growing. And he'll start developing a false sense of security, thinking that as soon as I touch anybody, I can knock anybody out. He needs to expand his skill set. He needs better opponents in front of him so we can see what else he has.
Well, the time is certainly now for a step up the ladder, because he has passed every test. He has passed every test put in front of him with flying colors. Ricardo Brown Gloves are off and he's feeling it. We saw the push-ups in the fight. We talked about could he go past 3 rounds. He's never been pushed past 3 rounds. Well, he certainly had lots of energy left after that KO.
On another note, Ricardo Brown, I got to have a nice heart-to-heart conversation with him today in the lobby. We share something in common. We both have 8-year-old sons who are on the autism spectrum, so we're able to connect on that level. And my heart goes out to him as a parent.
Absolutely. Talk about the dedication and time that it takes to be a fighter, and having that at home as well, right? I mean, that's something you can personally
100%
speak to, and that just shows just how much dedication is required to this craft, because like everybody else, there's a home life aspect to this side of this game as well.
And I've met his wife. He's got a good supportive partner at home. That's also important. That also defines your success, and I'm a fan.
Let's toss it up to Carlos Verde for the reading of the decision on this fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 151 of round number 1. Your winner via knockout and still undefeated, Ricardo Big 12 Brown.
Ricardo Brown pushes his record to 7-0, 7
Ricardo,
KOs. Let's go to the ring.
Let's chat here. Another first-round knockout for you at the Pickering Casino Resort. Talk about your short but powerful performance tonight.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. My camp was very good, so I just come out to work, put in the hard work, and just get rid of them from early.
We're on TV in Jamaica tonight. What do you want to say to the fans back home in Spanish Town and Jamaica as a whole? Obviously very proud of your homeland.
I want to say big up to Jamaica. I love Jamaica. Hometown, soon come home. Don't worry, very soon you will see me in action.
Ricardo Big 12 Brown, finally, your thoughts on the event, sold-out show here tonight at a beautiful venue, the Pickering Casino Resort. What can you say? This is your second fight here. Talk about the experience.
I want to say I love Pickering Casino. It's so amazing here. I love the rooms. I have a nice bath in my shower, so I love that. And the bath can fit me, so thank you guys for this amazing venue. I love it. Thank you.
Ricardo Big 12 Brown moves to 7-0 with another electric first-round knockout. Ricardo, congrats on the win. Go enjoy this one.
Thank you. Thank you all my fans, everybody who come out to see us. Thank you.
Ricardo Big 12 Brown, everybody, 7-0, 7 knockouts. Co-main event of the evening, Mark Smither, Jorge Rodriguez, coming up in a few minutes.
Ricardo Brown pushing it to 7-0, shouting out the casino as well. The amenities, the accommodation. It can be difficult to find comfortable sleeping for a 6'7" individual. Apparently the room that he has gets passing grades from him as well. Great job by him, and shout out to our fans watching in Jamaica as well. International broadcast here tonight live from Pickering Casino Resort. We're going to step away for a quick break. The action has been fast and furious. Don't go anywhere. Co-main event coming up on the other side of the break. United Boxing Promotions.
So many handsome and delicious men on this beach.
That guy is totally gonna be an F-boy.
There's something in the water.
I'm back.
Here we go.
Back the up.
Just burn paradise to the ground.
Oh my God! Like if you look up chaos in the dictionary, I'd be there like this.
Oh my God, look.
It's gonna be wild. Bachelor in Paradise Canada. Season premiere Monday, May 8th on City TV or stream anytime.
Today, I helped a parent feed their family by connecting them to a food program.
Today, I helped someone connect with mental health supports.
Today, I helped a couple struggling to pay their bills access financial aid.
Every day, 211 navigators connect Canadians to critical government and community programs and services.
211. Help starts here.
Is the camera
United Boxing Promotions live from Pickering Casino Resort. Has been a fantastic evening of action so far. Ricardo Brown delivering the goods, pushing his record to 7-0 with 7 KOs. He came just as advertised in that last fight.
100%. He did what he's supposed to do, and dispatched of his opponent, and he did so impressively. Got this crowd roaring, gave them what they wanted, what they came here to see. And you know what I like about him is he's marketable. He's big, he's got some Olympic pedigree, and he's got a likable, loud personality, you know, sense of humor, a good sense of humor. And they can do a lot with him. Boxers will be likable if they keep finishing their opponents in 3 rounds or less. And this is what he did as we get a look at his handiwork. Good mix of head and body. You talked about the importance of that, keeping your opponent guessing. Ricardo Brown started things up high, but ultimately finished the fight with a shot to the body right there. Absolutely. Hey, there's an old saying in boxing, goes kill the body, the head will die.
That's exactly right, and that's exactly what Ricardo Brown did. Let's turn our attention to the co-main event. Mark Smither undefeated 10-0, putting that undefeated record on the line, looking for a victory here tonight to perhaps set up some big fights this coming summer. But he's got a game opponent and a veteran in that in Jorge Rodriguez.
He does have a veteran Rodriguez who's well-traveled, but he's also a 41-year-old veteran.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our co-main event of the evening. 8 rounds or less in the super lightweight division. Please welcome to the arena first, fighting out of the blue corner, all the way from Argentina, he is Jorge El Pelado Rodriguez.
Jorge Rodriguez making his way to the ring. Record of 23-19-2. Experience is abundant with Jorge Rodriguez. 231 rounds spent in the ring over the course of his boxing career. I'm sure there's not much that he hasn't seen in the ring.
100%, but you know, at 41 years old, we're gonna see too how much left there is to offer, because he has been stopped 7 times, and he is now in his 40s. So is he still that same credible veteran that gives up and-comers like Smithers some real developmental tests, or is he damaged goods? Mark Smither is going to answer some of those questions tonight for us.
And a lot on the line for Mark Smither. I mean, it's a local fight, not a hometown fight from Barrie, Ontario, but close enough to his home city. 10-0 record, undefeated, and perhaps with visions of some big fights this coming summer. This is an important fight for his opponent at Mark Smither, so Jorge Rodriguez has to be ready.
100%. 100%.
And now introducing into the arena, proud Canadian fighting out of the red corner. Here is the undefeated, marvelous Mark Smither.
Marvelous Mark Smither, 10-0, the undefeated record, fighting out of Barrie, Ontario, and this a fighter with an almost cult-like following in his home area of Barrie, Ontario. They are proud of their undefeated fighter, and rightfully so. Now tonight, perhaps with a victory, can set himself up for some big-time fights this coming summer.
100%, and you know what? Mark Smither, and he's a likable kid. He's well known in his community, and he's scoring a first stoppage. If he can score a first, he's already achieved 2 milestones, like I said at the top of the broadcast, with his Canadian title and his first regional belt. Now, if he can score his first stoppage, that'll garner more and more of an argument to build him into a bigger hometown attraction back in his community. And that's something I think is on his mind tonight.
The highlight reels, the knockouts, the finishes, how much does that play into a fighter's mindset, a fighter's preparation, stepping into the win? Obviously, the ultimate goal is the victory, but how much does getting that finish factor into a preparation or a mindset in a fight like this?
It's undeniable it's in the back of his mind. It's undeniable. Every fighter thinks of that. You know, he can't prioritize just that be the focal point of his training, but there's no question it's in the back of his mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our co-main event of the evening, sanctioned for 8 rounds in the super lightweight division. All of this being brought to you by Tyler Buxton's United Boxing Promotions, live from the sold-out Pickering Casino Resort here in Pickering, Ontario, Canada. Your judges at ringside for this co-main event, Mr. Alan Davis, Mr. Jasper Kajavsky, and Mr. Jeremy Hayes. Your official, the third man inside the ring when the punches fly, the former Canadian and Commonwealth champion, Mr. Donovan Boucher. And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he wears the green with the right, verde con blanco. He weighed in at 141 pounds even. This, tonight, his 45th fight as a professional. The former WBC lightweight Latino title challenger. De Rio Tercero, Córdoba, Argentina. Presentando Jorge El Pelado Rodriguez. And now his opponent across the ring. He fights out of the red corner and he wears the Canadian red. He weighed in at 142.8 pounds. His record as a professional, a perfect one. 10 fights, 10 victories. The fighting pride of Barrie, Ontario, Canada. Here is the reigning Canadian super lightweight champion, Mr. Marvelous Mark Smither. And now with your final instructions, the referee, Mr. Donovan Boucher.
Gentlemen, I'm expecting a good, clean fight. Listen to my command at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck to both of you.
Marvelous Mark Smither, Jorge Rodriguez getting set to tangle. Smither, the reigning Canadian super lightweight champion, and that's one way to get the crowd fired up, wearing the Canadian red and getting that announcement. How much extra juice is in the veins when you're fighting on your home soil in front of your Canadian fans?
There's no question. It gives you a little extra energy boost that you didn't know you had.
Smither, aggressor early, looking to take control of the ring. Patience yet poised is Smither.
Well, that is Mark Smither. That is Mark Smither. You know, we got to Mr. I refereed a good number of his amateur bouts, and we did some sparring, some work together last year in the gym, getting each other ready and sharing some rounds. And he's definitely a natural counterpuncher at heart with consummate boxing skills. So sometimes, how do you throw a counterpuncher off and force him to initiate? So that could be the first trick up Rodriguez's sleeve tonight, forcing the counterpuncher to come to him. He's trying to employ some movement.
And don't mistake patience for passiveness. Patience with purpose.
Yes.
Rodriguez, though, does a nice job of throwing a few punches of his own to get some space to circle away. Smither, though, not giving him much room to breathe. Closes the gap quickly. Left to the body.
Well, he's closing the gap. He's closing that gap quickly, but intelligently. You know, he's working behind his jab, and he's not overcommitting and like lunging in when he could be open to run into shots. You know, he's trying to stalk him methodically. But I think it's very it's crafty what Rodriguez is trying to do. I think he knows he's outgunned and a little outskilled. So he's trying to do things that can. I said he's awkward. He's trying to frustrate Mark and do things unconventionally and get him frustrated, force him to make a mistake and capitalize. I think that seems to be the game plan for Rodriguez in this first round.
And that awkward style, that can perhaps lead to frustration over the course of a few rounds as well. So many rounds spent in the gym sparring and perhaps not seeing a style like this. How tough is it to find someone that can perhaps mimic a style of Jorge Rodriguez?
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes it is hard to prepare for a style like this. Sometimes you just can't. And you got to just adjust on the fly while you're in there. And sometimes, too, I've always said before, my years training in the gym, sometimes it's harder to spar a beginner than it is a conventional guy who's at your skill level because he's awkward, they got no timing, they have no rhythm. can really throw off a conventional guy.
Gotta watch the heads there. Ducking out of the way was Rodriguez. Bit of a clash of heads as Rodriguez raised back up.
You know, and I am curious because I'm wondering if I see a little nick on Mark Smithers' left eyebrow from that clash of heads. I don't know if he drew blood or not, but I thought I saw a nick, unless it's just a really thick eyebrow.
Well, Smithers certainly the aggressor.
He's got a cut. He's cut.
You're absolutely right. Great eyes there by you, Tony. And that would be from the clash of heads. Well, seems to be in an okay spot. It's off to the side, and it's not a huge gash. It's just a small cut.
Right. And Mark Smithers showing good poise, got his poker face on, he's handling it well. So when we talked about milestones tonight, we were thinking, could he score his first stoppage? That's a new milestone tonight. Maybe the milestone he's getting tonight was dealing with adversity and working through his first cut, getting to see his own blood.
Yeah, 8-round fight in first round, a clash of heads.
Yeah,
maintaining that composure, and that's probably what they're talking about right now in the corner. 60 seconds is up, and we'll get back underway here in round number 2. Quick work by the cut man in the corner. Not a huge gash to try to stop the bleeding from, and seems to be just fine. Something we'll keep an eye on, though, especially if this drifts into the later rounds of this fight. So what is it about the style, the awkwardness of Rodriguez that can pose challenges here to Smithers?
It's hard to fight a guy who doesn't want to fight, you know, and he's got awkward movement, takes, you know, side steps, he moves where you don't think a guy would move at that time. The timing is off, and he's fighting to survive. It's hard to fight a guy who's trying, it's hard to stop a guy who's fighting to survive and not fighting to win, because he's not going to present as many openings. Then when he does do these attacks, they're very much like a bull rush, and they're just turkey-jerky. It's hard to put into words the difficulty of a wily veteran like Rodriguez poses for a guy like Smithers.
Keep an eye on the frustration level too, if that can mount. That adds up over the course of 8 rounds.
Well, I think one way Mark Smithers can battle this and overcome some of this awkwardness is, look, the legs are moving, the head's moving, but the body doesn't move. You know, so start throwing more belly jabs like he just did. The belly, the chest, the arms. Just touch that body and the head will open up. Start doing things like that, touch that body, that'll take away some of the movement. And then the openings will present itself.
Smithers with a pawing left hand pushes the head back of Rodriguez.
We just heard someone from the crowd say, touch that body, Mark. They must have heard me.
And he does just that yet again.
Yes. And what I like to see more from Mark too, as this fight progresses, is he's got a good jab. Double up on it. Sometimes 2 or 3 jabs is harder time than one single jab. You know, throw 2 or 3 jabs. Even if they don't have to land. They don't have to land, but it's something to blind a guy, you know, something shine in his face, blind him quick, and then it'll be easier to touch that body. Come with 2 or 3 jabs quick, and then go downstairs and pound those flanks.
Now we have a cut over the left eye there of Rodriguez. We're gonna get time called here.
Well, again, a guy like Rodriguez, the way he's been rushing in too, this also happens, you know. These accidental headbutts happen with a guy like Rodriguez lunging in, bull rushing, just running in when he throws punches. This is what we get.
So 2 clashes of heads and 2 cuts. One for each fighter over the left eye. That one, though, to Rodriguez seemed to do a little more damage, certainly more blood right away.
Well, and you know, that's karma too. You know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Final 20 seconds of round number 2. Smithers trying to crack the code that is Jorge Rodriguez.
So one adjustment I would like to see Smithers make, though, going forward with this fight, is when Rodriguez does decide that he wants to go on the attack and commit to a combination, I would like to see Mark kind of, he pulls back. He pulls back and pulls out straight, and he's vulnerable there. With his head up in the air, kind of panics a little bit, and he's closing his eyes. I'd like to see him, sometimes you're safer
closer than you are going away. Don't try to outrun the punch.
Right.
Don't outrun the punch. Move in tight, get close, put bury your head in the guy's chest when the guy's trying to lunge in. Meet him halfway and take him head on, smother him. What it does is you smother his offense.
Don't allow him that distance to get that full velocity shot off.
Exactly, 100. Man, did you box before?
No.
Because you're finishing my sentences tonight, buddy.
No, not at all. But there you see the cut opening up, and we saw it in the first round. Mark Smither get a bit of a nick, more of a nick than a cut. And that's a legit cut over the eye of Jorge Rodriguez. One clash of heads in the first, one clash of heads in the second.
Well, listen, it's not just the fighters earning the money tonight. Cutmen are earning the money too.
That's it. Smither quick off the stool and ready to go. A little animosity at the bell at round number 2 as well, as not sure if a shot or two after the bell and a little bit of pushing and separation.
Well, how would you feel if I hit you with my head twice? Not once, but twice in a matter of 6 minutes.
That's it. Well, we're here.
Nice right hand.
We're here for animosity, make no mistake.
I've always said it's okay to fight angry if you can control that anger. If you can channel it properly, it can make you better. It did for me in my career.
And that's a fine line to walk, and it can be the difference between a good fighter and a great fighter.
100%.
Now Rodriguez calling on.
I'm really starting to wonder if you box now, Shane.
Not at all.
I think you're hiding something.
Look out, through the ropes and comes back in.
But this is what I'm talking about. I don't like how Mike...
wow.
I don't like it. Things are heating up, boys.
Things are heating up, and this crowd is feeling it.
But I don't like how...
You think this isn't good for Mark?
Well, his head falling to the ropes like that is because of what I was saying earlier, the way he's backing up, panicking a bit. Whenever Rodriguez does come forward with his attacks, he's better off meeting him halfway, take the train on, and just keep your head down, chin down, shut up, and get on the guy's chest, smother his offense. Don't back up and give this guy momentum to drive forward and bully around like that.
Interesting to see what in the first 2 rounds was a passive Jorge Rodriguez. Now perhaps the sight of his own blood has lit a fire within him.
Right, and you know, everybody responds differently, right? Some guys see their blood and they shut down, others it just fires them up.
A little dirty boxing in the clinch here.
Well, so far Rodriguez is coming as advertised. He's awkward, he's unconventional, he's also dirty. We didn't get that in the memo, but he's doing everything he can to throw off the prospect Smither. And he's trying to remove the skill gap out of the equation and make this a street fight. And
nice feint there by Smither to open up the laneway for the left.
You know, what Rodriguez is doing tonight, it might not be enough to win, but it's enough to keep him in this fight and make Smither underperform if he can't make the adjustments.
It's just round 3 of 8, so a lot of runway left in this fight, and that looked to be a stumble. Touch of gloves here.
Could have been some water or sweat there in the ring, maybe.
Wasn't sure if a step on the foot as well.
Well, again, I think Smither's got to find a way to be a little more physical and forceful without giving up his balance and falling in. Because when he's falling in, he's on a balance, he's on a position to punch.
We talked about the cut man going to work between rounds 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. Well, hope he's ready for round number 4, because this cut on Rodriguez's left eye is starting to leak at a more rapid rate. Final 10 seconds of round number 3.
You know it is, but this blood could be deceiving, because arguably this could be first round of the fight where you could say Rodriguez might have stolen. I won't say won it, but you could argue he might have stole that round from Smither. You know, so Smither, this is a good developmental test for Smither tonight, because it's a battle of dealing with a wily, dirty guy in front of you who's doing things you don't want to do, throw you off your game, that you may not have been able to prepare for in the gym, but also a battle of controlling your emotions, not letting your emotions control you.
Let's take a look at some highlights, and things got heated in that 3rd round. We saw a little bit more of animosity than we saw in the first 2 rounds, and that perhaps the highlight or the point that jumps out in that round was Smither getting that head stuck through the top and second rope.
Well, and Rodriguez is showing his experience. He's got every trick in the book, because he's in that replay. When he backed Smither up against the ropes, he had his gloves holding right onto the ropes too. The referee missed that. We missed that live. Now when they caught that in the replay, but can't do that.
4th round of 8, super lightweight bout. Canadian super lightweight champion, marvelous Mark Smither, non-title bout against the Argentine and Jorge Rodriguez. Nice body shot there. In tight is short rights, or pardon me, short lefts from Rodriguez.
You know, Smither is Canadian super lightweight champion, but he's looking to, you know, go on that path where he can be a world title contender and look beyond his native country. But to do that, he's got to be able to solve puzzles like this and get past guys like Rodriguez, and as he moves along his journey. And right now Rodriguez is throwing him off his focus a little bit. He's got him out of his element.
Smither continuing to stalk. Rodriguez backs himself into the corner, clinches up.
But right now, Smither's the aggressor, but unlike the first couple of rounds, he's not the effective aggressor now. It's not effective aggression. He got away from his body attack. He's rushing it now, 1 or 2 jabs at a time, and then falls into clinches. He's got to keep double, triple up on that jab. Don't be so quick to rush in. Use your reach and set up punches from long range. Even if you're backing him up, you could shoot straight shots to the body from long range. He's got the reach to do so.
Saw some frustration on the face there of Mark Smither on the latest clinch, the latest tie-up. Something to maybe keep an eye on to see if the frustration mounts. We talked about the frustrating style of Rodriguez, and does more of a clinch game here in the 4th round. Maybe start to add to that frustration level for Smither.
Again, and it's the type of strategy where it might not always win your rounds, but it does make the other guy look bad, even if he is still winning on points. You know, it's not that a guy like Rodriguez, that could be his goal tonight. Maybe he doesn't think he's got enough athleticism and youth on his side to actually pull it a win. But if he can make the guy look bad and be competitive, you know what? He'll get calls and future opportunities to keep taking these fights.
Well, yeah, and it's only round 4 of 8. Long way to go. Keep putting it on.
See, right there though, Smither, he's got to take a step back with that back foot, a little bump and a half step, a bump with that front shoulder, and half step back with that back foot to create room to punch whenever he falls into those clinches, and that'll be one way to nullify the clutching and holding of Rodriguez.
More of an in and out approach. Get in, get your job done, and get back out ready for the next one.
Exactly, and do that bump with that shoulder, and use your elbows and forearms to manipulate those arms inside. Maneuver the other guy's arms so he can't hold you. There you go. The glove up tight. It's a tough fight for Smither tonight. This is an even fight so far on my scorecard.
Halfway through, 4 of 8 rounds have been completed.
The question now going forward, though, as we're reaching the halfway point is, you know, 5, we've got 6 more rounds to go. Is at 41, can Rodriguez keep up this pace and maintain the output he's putting out, you know, for 6 more rounds? So far, he's shown age is just a number.
That's right. Could the clinch work in the 3rd round perhaps be him trying to prepare himself for this long 8-round runway and getting those breathers mixed into the action?
It does. You know, it is a breather, but at the same time, if you got the other guy who doesn't want to be in that clinch, forcing and trying to fight his way out, well, that's still resistance against your body. It becomes a pushing and shoving wrestling match inside. It's still
safe to say there's more energy expended in a clinch than it may appear.
Exactly.
Right. Second half of this 8-round super lightweight bout. Marvelous Mark Smither from Barrie, Ontario, taking on Jorge Rodriguez. An interesting fight.
See, right there, though, he's got it measured and lined them up. Double up on the jab and change levels. Head, body, head. Mix up your attacks. Don't try to throw the same combination every time. Try to do the same thing. Mix it up. Vary up your attack. Give the guy some different looks. Try it there with a lead hook, but follow up off that. It's okay. You missed with one shot, follow up with another. We got 2 hands. Right there, jab, body. Go to that body.
Catches the head movement there of Rodriguez, who tries to fire back. There's some of the in and out you were talking about as well.
In and out.
Tony.
I want to see in and out and then back in again. He's off to a good start this round. Just build off it. Oh, is that? I think I see a cut. Was it always on the right side, that blood on Rodriguez's face?
Well, I think he might have matching ones on each side now.
Oh, interesting. Well, Smither has changed he has made some small adjustments. The energy has changed a little bit in this round. I mean, I'm seeing a little bit more wear and tear from Rodriguez in this round as Smither lands a hard right hook to the flanks there.
Working the body even while in the clinch.
Yeah.
Trying to deplete that energy with every single shot.
Well, and it's working because I'm looking at the eyes right now. And the eyes don't lie of Rodriguez, and he's not liking those body shots. And he is feeling the pace. And it could finally be proving me right, showing his age for the first time in this fight.
Smither's done a great job here in this 5th round of reading the head movement of Rodriguez, recognizing the level changes that Rodriguez is going to present to him and adjusting his strikes.
Again, he must be hearing me. I'm talking too loud. The promoter's going to say I can't be cheering on the fighters on the broadcast.
No extra coaching. No extra coaching. Cornermen only. Crowd starting to rise to their feet.
Well, they're feeling the change of momentum here in this round. They know there's been a turning point at the halfway point.
We're going to get a check here on this cut.
It's either a cut or we got to lose. Oh, it's the cut. They're checking on the cut.
Doctor's coming up. Take a look at this cut over the right eye. We'll circle back to some of the work there of Smither, and there's the head movement, and that might be what opened him up right there. Nothing there as of yet on the right eye, and that was the clash of heads, actually. That was the clash of heads right there. So it's a bout that's been full of head clashes.
A little bit of everything.
Leaking from both fighters. And Rodriguez is wearing the worst of it. Smither immediately closes the distance. Oh, cracks him with a left there. And Rodriguez now trying to fire things up. Final 5 seconds of this 5th round.
Trying to steal the round.
A push after the bell. A push after the bell. What do you make of that? Is that frustration, or is that a veteran trying to get into the head of his opponent?
It could be, but I think it's a psych job. I think it's a psych job. I think he knows he's a little outclassed and he's outdone, so he's trying to do everything he can to get under the younger guy's skin.
No reaction at all from Mark Smither, and that has to be a good thing as well.
100%. It has to be a good thing, and there's 2 ways to go about it. Either no reaction, or you know what I did in my time was no reaction, but then when we get back in the exchange again, I do it back to you twice as hard.
That's it.
On the opposite side of the ref.
That's it. Long memory. Long memory. Saw a smirk from Smither, but nothing more. He has...
Listen, man, at the end of the day, this is a fight. We're in a fight. You get to a certain point in a fight where, you know, the gloves are on, but figuratively they're off.
That's right. Cornermen being instructed to get out. Whistle had gone. It's time to go here.
Rodriguez was slow to get up off that stool.
Off the stool.
Coming into this 6th round.
Round 6 of 8, and see if Smither maybe tries to up the pace here, recognizing that through rounds 4 and 5, a noticeable decline in pace from Rodriguez.
Another small adjustment I saw he made there. First time all night. Let's see if he can do it again. In the earlier exchange, one way he got out of the clinch, he had his elbows and forearms up against Rodriguez's head to keep himself from getting grabbed and clinched. That's a good way to control the guy's head and keep yourself from getting tied up. Use your forearms to maneuver the guy's head and body out. He's trying to do it again.
Nice jab by Smither before this clinch, snapping the head back at Rodriguez.
Well, again, if I'm Smither, you know, you don't need to be so quick to rush in and give up your reach. But keep him at the end of your jab. The end of your jab and the right hand, and the hooks will come.
Oh, and this is a cut.
Another one.
That's a big cut.
Oh, man.
Left eye now. Smither with a bit of a death stare over to Rodriguez, and this is a leaking one. This is a gash. We've seen nicks, we've seen cuts. This is a big one.
And this is critical for Smither. You know, he's on his way. He's blood all over Rodriguez right now. But with Smither too, this cut, I am going to say, it's unfortunate because, look, he's on his way to a victory tonight, a tough, competitive fight. But sometimes cuts like this, he's looking towards coming back in the ring in the summer, but it all depends on how this cut heals after the fight. It's going to take some serious post-rehab treatment if he wants to come back in the summer.
Doctor says we're good to go, and that gets a cheer from the crowd.
And there is blood all over
Rodriguez's face
right now.
Just painted in blood.
I know that appearance isn't always everything.
Oh, nice left there.
Best punch of the fight.
Best punch of the fight. See what kind of reaction it gets from Rodriguez. Does his urgency see an uptick now? Safe to say, Smither smells blood. If those gloves weren't red before stepping into this fight, they certainly would be now.
But I'm with Smither right now. I know we see the blood, but get to that body. Get to that body. Don't get bloodthirsty. Get to that body, that head will open up. And look, Smither's a good body puncher. I haven't seen, he doesn't have a good left hook to the liver that he shovels in like a knife. I haven't seen it yet tonight. I would like to see it. It could make his life easier in this fight.
Like the urgency from Smither as well. Every time there's a break, there's no more than 1 or 2 seconds before he's closed that distance, closed that gap, and put the pressure back onto Rodriguez.
Well, there's no question. I know for a fact, the hands-on experience, Mark Smither is always well-conditioned and well-prepared, and takes his craft seriously and trains diligently in the gym. So yeah. I have no question about his conditioning.
We haven't mentioned gas tank once with Mark Smither, and I think it's for obvious reasons. I mean, the pace can be kept at this high level through all 8 rounds.
And it's not just conditioning, but it's also his character. Listen, he's faced a lot of adversity tonight, and his character hasn't cracked one bit. He's still very much laser-like focused. And the things I'm seeing that I could nitpick and be critical of in Smither has nothing to do with his character or his mental. It's just technical stuff that can be sharpened up and worked on in the gym.
Right. Things that can be fixed.
And here in this replay, though, I love what I saw there. Smither took his head out on the outside of his opponent's shoulder, land that right hand, then he followed up with the left hand. When you follow up with that left hand, that front hand, it puts you back on balance.
Interesting fight for Smither. There's been a variety of challenges in this fight. We started with talking about the awkward style of Jorge Rodriguez. From there you go to the clashes of heads. From there you go to a bit of animosity, some after the bell type things. There's been a variety of challenges for Mark Smither. I think he's done a good job keeping a level head throughout this fight and keeping his eyes on the prize, and that's the victory.
100%. You know, there are some things that I think he needs to tighten up on in his game. You know, when he's dealing with resistance like this, but with the same token, the way he's responding to the adversity, and like I said, his character and his approach going forward, there's no question in my mind that he's got a championship level heart as he's developing in his career.
High character fighter, and certain instances in this fight will only add to that. Smither once again backs Rodriguez into a corner. Rodriguez ducks his head down, getting warning from the referee about hugging. Nice exchange there. Rodriguez maybe finding a home for a right hand.
Smither doing a good thing by making it a point to continue attacking that body in this round. Look, sometimes a guy like, when you're facing a guy like Rodriguez, there's an old saying in boxing, win, look good next time. And that could be the case here tonight. Like, it's not going to be pretty, but Smither's doing what he has to do to solve the puzzle in front of him tonight, and can only learn and again get better from a fight like this.
Yeah, the records don't have pictures, right? Wins and losses.
This could do a lot more for him developmentally than if he would have scored an early knockout.
3 steps in to separate. Smither once again closes the gap in a heartbeat. Keeping the pace, keeping the pressure. not giving Rodriguez much room to breathe. Always forward motion from Smither in this fight. It's something we've seen consistently through all 7 rounds.
And I want to see him continue to stalk and come forward. He just doesn't have to come in so close. I like to see him moving forward when he watches the tape in this fight. He can stalk from a little bit more of a distance and just work that jab over time, set up that long right hand, and then everything else will open up from there. And I'm just wondering if it's something I'd like to see. If I had a chance, if I was a fly on the wall, I'd like to know if he feels like that opening just wasn't there for that liver shot tonight. But he seems to have, when he's gone to the body, he's favored that right hook, and I haven't seen the left hook too much tonight. But predominantly in previous fights, there was a mean, nasty hook to that liver from the left side, and I haven't seen it yet tonight.
Approaching the final seconds of round 7. Careful on the heads there once again as these two men come in with force. Seem to escape that one without any damage to both fighters. Final 10 seconds of round number 7. Rodriguez maybe opening up a little bit.
Well, Rodriguez showing his veteran tactics here, because notice the last 10 seconds of every round is where he shows a spurt of aggression. He tries to leave a final pressure on the judges. We call that stealing the round.
Is the final 10 seconds enough to sway the judges? It really is not, right? And we've seen on the back too much on the back foot for Rodriguez.
Yes.
I think we have to give Smither credit for that as well. Yes, styles make fights, and Rodriguez backpedaling into the ropes, but Smither has not taken his foot off the gas pedal at all, not one time here tonight through 7 of 8 rounds.
No foot off the gas. He's continuing, as we're seeing here in the replay, being the first to initiate exchanges, the last to land in most exchanges, looking to attack the body, carrying the fight, dictating the pace, coming forward. It's not pretty. It's been ugly and foul-filled at times, but there's no question that the man who's in control entering this last round is Marvelous Mark.
This is the final round of the co-main event.
8th and final round. Mark Smither, Jorge Rodriguez. A fight that has had so many ebbs and flows. But one thing that has remained consistent has been the pressure and the pace of Marvelous Mark Smither, looking to add to his undefeated 10-0 record. Under 3 minutes to go in this round, or in this fight.
One thing Rodriguez has been able to do to reduce some of the punishment he's been taking tonight is when he finds himself on the ropes, he'll start doing the erratic upper body movement and shoulder and head feints. And it's been working. It's been working on the younger Mark, where he gets Mark to stop and pause for a minute and look at the picture. And while he's looking and staring and posing, Rodriguez is buying himself time where he can either sneak a shot in, or he gets a breather, and as time passes by.
And oftentimes it leads to a clinch or a grab it up.
It leads to a clinch and a grab,
well.
and it takes away openings, punching opportunities for Smither that he could have capitalized on.
And as those add up over time as well, you think each and every time we've seen the clinch, it's been a very repetitive type style of fight, and if Rodriguez can limit those opportunities, it's taken away a lot of chances for Smither to inflict the damage that he's looking to do.
And you know, but now that he's in the corner, he's doing it, there's that head movement, there's that head movement dipping. When he does that, that's what Smither's got to do. It's a bluff. It's a bluff. Attack the body doesn't move. When he starts doing that hyper head movement like that and getting Mark to stop and think, don't think, go to that body and flurry and combinations. Call the bluff. Like that. And more.
Final half of the final round of this 8-round super lightweight bout. Smither now making Rodriguez pay for the clinch work. Want to come and clinch? Okay, here's a few to think about for the next time.
Those are the shots that make you pee blood in the morning.
Final minute, round number 8. Mark Smither looking to push his undefeated record to 11-0. Seemingly has done enough so far through the fight. Has been the aggressor, has done the most damage. And has been the one to push the pace in this contest.
Oh, there's finally that hook to the body. First time he's thrown a left hook to the body that I've seen.
Final 30 seconds now. Duck and grab from Rodriguez. Smither looking to separate, but as he moves backwards, Rodriguez keeps engaged with the clinch, with the hold.
Well, again, I think this is a good experience for Mark. again, there's things he can do to avoid falling into those clinches. And part of it is not having to rush in and stalk in so aggressively. Be aggressive, but not slow it down a little bit and maintain some range on your way in. It was a good learning fight for Mark, though. No question, he's got the W. His hand should be raised. He should be the rightful victor tonight. But he's got some things to work on. He's got to go back to the drawing board when he gets home and he has time to review the tape.
And this will be a tape that has a lot for him to pull from. An 8-round fight, but there are many different elements, many different factors in this fight. This was a fight that had a lot of different type of challenges for Mark Smither, and he seemed to overcome all of them.
100%, because, you know, the Smither, he has yet to score a stoppage, but he still has been dominant in most of his victories so far up to this point. So he's been the distance, but usually where he's having his way in posting shutouts. Tonight was going to be wide on the scorecards, but he had to work hard and earn every inch of every round to get the W tonight that he hasn't had to do yet. So that is a milestone. It's still a milestone in itself. He didn't score the stoppage. It's another distance win, but a milestone in the sense that it wasn't the kind of dominant victory where he was always in full control and having things go his way. He had to respond to adversity, saw his blood for the first time, and he had to work on himself some puzzles there to get the round.
Your thought on Smither maintaining his composure while maintaining his aggression, because there was times throughout this fight in various ways where the frustration level of Smither could have risen. I think he did a good job of maintaining that composure, but still maintaining the aggression needed.
It's a fine line. It's a tricky balance to maintain. It's one that I struggled with too in my developmental years as a prospect, running into guys like this, and it's just part of the journey, man.
A marvelous Mark Smither looking to push his record to 11-0, and this is one that Jorge Rodriguez is certainly going to look back on, and I wonder if he'll have some question marks about the clash of heads and the blood and how much of a factor that played. But I think when you break the fight down, certainly Rodriguez was outclassed skill-wise by Mark Smither in this
fight. And you know, those headbutts and fouls and things that happen, you know, accidental or not, has everything to do with, in my eyes, with the way Rodriguez was fighting. You know, he was lunging, rushing in, running in, head first. I mean, that's what's going to happen. You know, you threw the other guy off and forced him into a sloppy, lackluster fight, but at the same time, your body's paying for it too.
Well, when you duck and dive, when you're going into those type of situations, head movement, of course, is a basic premise of boxing. That's what's going to happen. You're changing levels, you're coming in tight, you're coming in close. That's what's going to happen. We're going to have clashes of heads, and we had a few in this fight. Let's go to the ring for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after an entertaining, bloody 8-round bout, we go to the judges' scorecards. But first, let's hear it for both these warriors. Mark Smither, Jorge Rodriguez. And we head now to the scorecards, where Jeremy Hayes has it 80-72, Alan Davis has it 79-73, and Jasper Kajavsky has it 78-74. All in favor of your winner by unanimous decision, and still undefeated, marvelous Mark Smither.
Marvelous Mark Smither pushes his record to 11-0. Let's go to the ring to hear from the winner himself.
You moved to 11-0, but that really was a war. What did you make of your performance over 8 rounds here tonight at the Pickering Casino Resort?
Yeah, you know, I thought I had a half-decent performance, but, you know, I wasn't expecting to chase around the ring a little bit. I was expecting more of a little inside fight from him. But you know what, hands off to my opponent for coming in here, and thanks for the whole crowd for coming.
And Mark, you make no secret of your love and pride for being from Barrie, Ontario, Canada, and we are very excited to announce tonight that marvelous Mark Smither is coming to Barrie, Ontario, July 8th at the Sadlon Arena. Mark, what is it going to mean to fight at the biggest arena in your hometown?
It's amazing. I love my city. I do it for my city. This is B-Town, baby. Thanks a lot.
Mark Smither, undefeated and back in the ring July 8th. Tickets will be on sale soon. Follow United Promotions for more details. Marvelous Mark Smither, 11-0.
Marvelous Mark Smither pushing his record to 11-0, and we talked about the potential for a victory here tonight to set up some bigger fights into the summer. Well, how does July 8th sound, and how does his hometown of Barrie, Ontario sound? United Boxing Promotions is bringing the hometown hero to Barrie July 8th.
Listen, in a perfect world, that sounds great to me. I hate to be the Debbie Downer party pooper. Before they jump the gun, I'd like to see how that cut heals when he goes back home. Still has some time. It's got a few months, but let's see how that cut heals.
We've got a main event coming up right around the corner. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with Brandon Cook versus Gino Godoy. Our main event of the evening is up next.
Calling all journalism students, Omni Television is once again awarding scholarships to qualified students pursuing a career in third language journalism.
Having this opportunity to envision what life as a foreign language journalist could look like is crucial to determining where I make my next career move. I can't wait to start putting this funding to use.
Omni is home to a variety of locally produced current affairs programs and daily national newscasts, broadcast in 6 languages. To learn more about Omni scholarships, visit omnitv.ca/scholarships.
It's closing time, and you stayed out longer than you planned. So now you can't drive, and the buses have stopped running. You could always call your girlfriend. Or maybe your roommate? What about your best friend? You could just dial 1-888 Taxi Guy or use the Taxi Guy app. The call and the app are free, and they both connect you to a local cab company to bring you home safely. Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober.
United Boxing Promotions rolls on here tonight at the Pickering Casino Resort. It's been a fantastic night of fights so far, and the best is yet to come. The main event of the evening is up next. Brandon Bad Boy Cook versus Gino Godoy. And this should be a good one. 35 KOs combined. We've had a night full of action, and this main event certainly is poised to deliver more of that.
Well, you know what? You can never go wrong with Brandon Cook. You can never go wrong with Brandon Cook. He always brings it. He's that type of guy. You got to fight him. Bring your lunch bucket to work type of fighter. He's in it for the long haul. Makes for exciting fights. Loves to exchange in the center of the ring, toe-to-toe in the pocket. Likes that hook to deliver. And he's one to give, one to take one. Take one to give one.
Yeah, okay, Brandon Cook, a former world title challenger, 36 years of age though, so the time is now. If he wants to make another run, the time is now. There is no more time to waste, and it starts here tonight in this main event.
Yes. Brandon Cook in his mid-30s, the window does get smaller and smaller, so he knows he has to move. He was off for a couple years. He's on his 3rd fight in his comeback now. He doesn't want to waste any time. He has to make a statement tonight.
A hungry and confident Gino Godoy on the other side. A very impressive record for Brandon Cook, 24-2, 17 KOs. For Gino Godoy, 29-2 with 18 KOs. These gentlemen have racked up certainly impressive resumes. It's certainly an intriguing matchup with so much similarities in their records.
It's intriguing. There's similarities on paper. The numbers are almost identical, but in the real application of it, Brandon Cook, he's got more quality to his numbers than Gino Godoy does. He's well-traveled. He's been to the States. He's fought for a world title. He's been on the road. Gino Godoy, he hasn't left Argentina. He hasn't lost in 12 years, but he also hasn't left Argentina until tonight. At 35 years old, his first time fighting outside his native country. So this is a milestone for him, but also it makes me question a little bit the quality in those numbers he possesses. But I know Brandon and the way he fights when he goes into the ring. The questions I have about Godoy's numbers, Brandon will give me some answers.
What challenges or what does Brandon Cook bring to the table that could pose problems for Gino Godoy? What are the strengths that people should be looking for in Brandon Cook's game?
Pressure, consistency, a body attack, physical strength, conditioning, toughness. But again, I'm saying all these things with an asterisk because I am looking at the age. He is 36 years old, and skin, like, we're looking at the tail of the tape right now. Look at his face right now. His face right now, he's got like a little swelling and like bruises just under his eyes. He's a guy who, he's been a come forward pressure fighter for years. That's how he's made his career, taking and giving and receiving punishment, you know, putting on entertaining fights, but putting his body on the line. As you get older and you reach your 30s, I experienced it too. You know, the skin doesn't recuperate and bounce back from those shots the way they did in your 20s. You know, so the punch resistance wanes as we get older as athletes. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen to Brandon tonight, but I am saying that it's a possibility.
At what age do the miles start to add up a little quicker? Is it about 30 years of age? Is it 35 years of age? At what age does the fighter really, the damage start to accumulate a little bit faster than it once did?
Well, you know, it is slightly different for everybody, but typically it happens as you reach your mid-30s. You know, for me, I started noticing when I turned 30, I was still in my prime, and I was still performing operating at a high level, but one thing that got a little more trickier when I hit my 30s was weight management. My weight would naturally carry higher between fights. It was getting harder and harder to cut the weight. Your metabolism slows down a little bit when you reach your 30s. It's natural. And then from there also, then for myself, injuries. I'd be on a good run, be on a good roll in training, and then injuries. Something would always come up. Things that I could have got away with in my 20s, I didn't in my 30s, and the body starts breaking down a little bit. The skills are there, but the recuperation, the recovery ability, and ability to shake off injuries isn't the same.
And a harder weight cut, how can that translate on fight night into the cardio, the endurance, the gas tank? We're talking about a 10-round super welterweight fight that we're about to go through right here.
Endurance, depending on what your rehydration strategy, how much time you've had to recover, and how you chose to refuel after you make weight, and how drastic the weight cut was, how much that took out of you to make that weight, and also your punch resistance, because it's everything. The way we hydrate and dehydrate ourselves. There's water. The water goes in the brain too. You know, so it affects your ability to take shots, depending on how drastic the weight cut is. I don't know what Brandon Cook's weight cut was like, but I do know his style is a physically demanding style, and as you age, it doesn't always age well. So far, Brandon is 2-0 in his comeback, and he's defied those odds, but there have been some chinks here and there in his comeback fights. And I don't know if Godoy is the guy to fully expose that tonight or not, but we're gonna answer those. We're gonna have those questions answered tonight.
Gino Godoy, 35 years of age, 31 fights, and this will be his first time fighting out of his native Argentina. What does that say to you? Is that a lack of opportunity? Is that a lack of just reaching outside of your homeland, your fights in your native area? What would be a reason where a fighter like that, with so much experience or so many fights on the card, wouldn't have reached outside his homeland?
I think in Gino Godoy's case, I'm guessing there's lack of opportunity. This game, there's so many unsung heroes that we never get to hear about because they didn't have the right connections, they didn't have the right resources at their disposal to give them the opportunity they deserved when it mattered. And maybe Gino Godoy was that guy who at one point his career could have went in a more positive direction. He could have taken his journey on the road and showcased his skills to the world. And he just didn't have those connections in the support network to get him there.
Could be an interesting environment here tonight for Gino Godoy as well. This is a Saturday night casino event, a sold-out crowd. It is packed in here. The atmosphere is electric. Obviously, I'm sure he's dealt with some rowdy environments back home, but it'll be an interesting dynamic to come here and fight a home Canadian guy in this environment.
It's interesting because I'm sure it was rowdy back home, but rowdy in his favor.
Right.
Where they want him to win. They want to see him do good. Tonight, interesting is one word. Another word is unwelcoming. He will not be welcomed here tonight. This is the main event. Everybody came here to see bad Brandon Cook. He is not welcome here. Right. And they will make sure they see, if Brandon takes care of business and does what this crowd wants him to do, they will gladly show him the door also.
Yeah, we saw the crowd reaction for Marvelous Mark Smither as well, and his reaction wearing the Canadian red. So Brandon Cook will likely get similar reaction
Well, listen, Smither works in sales. Smither works in sales. He's a salesman, so he knows. He knows what the people like. He knows he's going to get a positive reaction when he comes in the ring with Canadian Chunks. We're looking at other two United Promotions prospects here, and Joshua Frazier and Sukhdeep Singh. Sukhdeep Singh, believe will be headlining next United show on May 27th, putting his 14-0 record on the line.
Yeah, May 27th, the CAA Center tickets currently available for the next card for United Boxing Promotions. Also heard about the July 8th card, having what we believe to be a main event contender in Marvelous Mark Smither in Barrie, Ontario. So the future is certainly bright and continues to get brighter for United Boxing Promotion, and it's prospects like these that are what is so promising about the future of this promotion.
100%, and you know, United Promotions doing a great job showcasing them and building their brand.
We are ready, we are set. Let's get started. Our main event of the evening is upon us.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the main event of the evening, scheduled for 10 rounds or less in the super welterweight division. First off, please welcome to the arena, fighting out of the blue corner and Argentina, here is Gino El Aspero Godoy.
Muy buenos días a todos los amables oyentes en esta mañana de su radio Intimate. Ayer kalian jual kerja juga dia bersekicis. Kalau yang pas banyak tapi kan dia tak awal yang tak mudah dia biar riwani. Kita wajib kita pada itu. Kemudian ayer tak kehoi nak pelajari rumah lagi.
Gino El Aspero Godoy, 29-2 with 18 KOs, venturing outside of his native Argentina for the first time in his boxing career. A headlining main event moment for Godoy, taking on Brandon Cook, the hometown hero, Ajax, Ontario. This a huge opportunity for Gino Godoy. He has spread his wings, he has left his native homeland, and this is an opportunity for him to make a splash in a big way and play perhaps a bit of a spoiler role here with Brandon Bad Boy Cook and Ajax. This is a huge opportunity, the biggest of Godoy's career.
100%, and it's a pivotal moment for him, and it'll be interesting to see how he responds to it. Some guys, look, I had the fight on the road. It was fuel for me. I used it as fuel. When I fought on the road, it motivated me when I heard boos from the crowd when I would get introduced into the ring, and I would tell myself, you know, by the time this fight's over, you're going to remember me and you'll be cheering for me before I leave this arena. Some guys, they use it as fuel and it makes them more dangerous. We call them road warriors. Other guys, they fold under the pressure a little bit, and they can't handle the feedback from the crowd, and they get intimidated, and they get caught up in the moment. We don't know what kind of reaction we're gonna get, option A or option B, from Gino Godoy tonight. But that's why the guys fight the fights, and so we can find out. There's only one way to find out.
Well, the wealth of experience, 29-2, 31 fights, but this some uncharted territory for him as well. I mean, repetition is what breeds experience, but the repetition for him has always been in his home country. Is that not yet branched out? Comfort zone, that's a great way to put it. And it's an uncomfortable environment at the best of times in a boxing ring with an opponent trying to take your head off. You add on the element of being on the road, being in an unfamiliar environment, unfamiliar circumstances. The food is different, the environment is different, the surroundings are different, the people are different. It's a difficult situation.
100%.
For sure, everything is different, and it's for the very first time in Gino Godoy's career that he's dealing with this differences, all the while having to deal with an opponent on the other side of the ring in Brandon Cook. So the challenges are certainly there aplenty for Gino Godoy.
It's a little late, but better late than never.
The former world title challenger who has electrified Ontario arenas for a decade. Please welcome Brandon Bad Boy Cook.
Boy Cook making his way to the ring. And Tony, I know this is your choice for walkout song of the night. Does this just not scream big fight when you hear this song?
I'm getting chills right now. It's making me think of a comeback. Brandon, don't do that to me. Don't do me like that.
It gets the blood flowing. It gets the big fight energy going.
It's
Saturday night.
I was talking about what it's like fighting on the road and how that would fuel me, but it was a different energy when it's on your hometown too, and you're coming down that boardwalk on your way to the ring, and hit that stage, and your people are cheering for you, shouting your name. And Brandon's giving me those flashbacks. I'm seeing it, and it's a feeling that you can't get anywhere else. I know exactly what Brandon's feeling, and man, just take it. It's a moment in time that you cherish forever.
Brandon Bad Boy Cook, 24-2 with 17 KOs. Ajax, Ontario, the hometown hero, looking to make good in the main event of this evening.
This is the main event of the evening. Scheduled for 10 rounds or less in the super welterweight division. It's all being brought to you live by Tyler Buxton's United Boxing Promotions, live from the sold-out Pickering Casino Resort tonight in Pickering, Ontario, Canada. Your judges at ringside for this main attraction, Mr. Alan Davis, Mr. Jeremy Hayes, and Mr. Martin DeLita. And your referee in charge, the third man inside the squared circle when the punches fly, for the 2024th time, Mr. David Dunbar. And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, he wears the white with blue albiceleste de su querido Argentina. He weighed in at 158 3/4 pounds. His record as a professional, a sterling one. 29 victories against 2 defeats, with 18 big wins coming por via del knockout. From the Centenario, Neuquén, Argentina. Damas y caballeros, ladies and gentlemen, he is Gino El Aspero Godoy. And now his opponent across the ring, he fights out of the red corner. He wears the blue with the shiny silver trim. He weighed in at 159 1/4 pounds. His record as a professional, 24 victories against 2 defeats, with 17 big wins coming by way of knockout. The former Canadian, North American, and Intercontinental Champion. The former WBO World Title Challenger. The fighting pride of Ajax, Ontario, Canada. He is Brandon Bad Boy Cook. And now with your final instructions, here is Mr. David Dunbar.
Gentlemen, we went through the rules earlier in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. I expect you to obey my commands at all times. Belt line is here, belt line is here. Above there will be considered good blows. Any questions from the corners? Gentlemen, touch gloves, come out at the bell. Good luck to you both.
The intensity in the atmosphere ratcheted up for this main event of the evening. Gino Godoy, Brandon Bad Boy Cook, 10 rounds in the super welterweight division. And we are underway. Main event of the evening here tonight at the Pickering Casino Resort. Brandon Cook taking the center of the ring. Speed noticeable from both of these fighters right away.
Well, Godoy looking to maintain some range, a little bit of lateral movement. Not make it easy for Cook to just come in and get his shots off.
10-round fight, each fighter respecting one another, their abilities, their power, their skills. A 10-round fight versus an 8-round fight type of situation. maybe a little bit more runway to have a feeling out first round, or?
Well, that's what we're seeing so far, and which is often commonplace in a 10-round fight. Nice spin there. That was a nice spin by Godoy getting off the ropes. I like the way he maneuvered Cook's arms, it kept Cook from trying to launch a shot as Godoy was sliding off the ropes. By him controlling his arms, they got a touchdown a chance.
Speed doesn't always have to be punches, right? Footwork, elusiveness.
Exactly. Yeah.
All playing into a factor.
Hand positioning, where you place your arms. So far, Godoy's off to a positive start so far. He's working behind the jab, an educated left hand. He's applying some movement. No one had to shut down and nullify Cook's attack as he tries to work his way in.
Nice range control there by Cook. Using the jab, eluding the uppercut.
Cook showing his strength there, just pushing the guy off when Godoy tried to initiate a clinch. But what I'm seeing here, 1-2, backs out, he's making Cook miss. So far, 2 minutes into this fight, Godoy is outboxing Cook right now. Good head movement, nice counters, basics.
Nice body shot there.
And more shots like that is what it will take for Cook to make it his kind of fight and slow down that movement of Godoy.
Lots of time for those to add up as well in a 10-round fight.
Yes.
Put those in the bank early and often.
But Godoy returning with his own body shots there. You know, maybe we're getting one question answered already in this fight. We wonder, what was the reason he never left Argentina? Was it by choice because people were protecting him, or was it just lack of opportunity? Maybe it was just lack of opportunity, because so far Godoy is showing some good craft here early in this fight.
Oh, final 10 seconds and we have a slip. Godoy, good sportsmanship, immediately acknowledging. Not that the veteran official is going to be fooled by that, but good sportsmanship to wrap up the first round, and a crafty first round. The skill level is certainly high in this main event of the evening.
Yes, I do think Gino Godoy did enough to win that first round. I thought he employed some good boxing ability and found ways to slow down the pace and nullify Cook's attack. But yes, this fight is far from over, and Cook hasn't started cooking just yet.
We're just getting started.
He's still heating up the stove.
Preheating the oven. And sure, we'll be ready to go.
He's defrosting right now.
That's it. 10-round fight, lots of time to work with. Speed was evident right away from both of these fighters. The elusiveness as well. Godoy did a good job of picking and choosing the right moments, the right opportunities to get out of the path of Brandon Bad Boy Cook. Very impressive first round.
Fighters touch gloves again at the start of the second. I was never a fan of that.
We're here to scrap.
I believe in touching the gloves at the sound of the first bell. Well, in the center of the ring, when you do the stare down, touch gloves. After that, I'm only touching gloves again before the last round if we make it there. Everything else in between, all's fair in love and war. It's a fight.
That's it. Lateral movement here from Godoy, but good job by Cook to cut off the angles.
Yeah, Cook's got a little more forceful about his attack now in this round, not giving Godoy as much time to move around and put himself in position to land shots. Cook's a little bit more forceful. Oh, but he took a right hand on the way in.
Big right hand from Godoy. Though keeps pressuring forward, keeps moving forward. Rips to the body, rips again to the body.
That's what he does best. And then he's ripping up those uppercuts inside, fighting for room to punch. This is what Cook does. He roughs you up and he puts hands wherever he can put hands on you. Well, again, what might be happening too is that, you know, as these early rounds progress is, so far Godoy has shown that he has the boxing ability to outbox Cook and give him some problems and land. But Cook might be realizing maybe the punches though aren't enough to hold him off, and he might decide, hey, I'm willing to take when they get in. Maybe
Oh, a massive overhand right there from Brandon Bad Boy Cook. That gets the attention of Godoy, who seems to have eaten it pretty well.
But Cook finished my sentence. I was going to say, when the take one to give one.
Oh, and a left hand response from Godoy. Snaps the head around of Brandon Bad Boy Cook. The chins on both of these fighters. One huge shot delivered from each of them. And they meet again in the center of the ring and say, let's keep going. My goodness. Different animal of human beings you boxers are, I tell you, Tony.
We are a special breed, that's for sure.
Most definitely, zero doubt. Seeing some blood coming out of the nose of Godoy.
Well, again, it's been very evident. And in the second round, I get nervous how many times guys start making contact. It's a tough round to score because both guys had some shaky moments there.
Absolutely.
And ate some shots. That's a swing round.
Massive.
You know, there is such thing as even rounds. You know, I try not to give out even rounds too often, you know, but it could be one of those exceptions because both guys had their moments in that round.
Well, two huge moments. One for each fighter.
You know, one thing we do know, it's very evident that it's very clear what we have here. Godoy wants to box, Cook wants to fight. But what makes it more interesting to add to the dynamic, though, is that Godoy, though he wants to box and keep things at range, he's not afraid to get his hands dirty and sit down on a shots and rumble if he has to. If he has to, he's shown so far that he is willing to rumble if he absolutely has to, and then he'll get back to boxing again. That makes it dangerous.
Right. The footwork and lateral movement of Godoy has been on display in these first couple of rounds here.
And it could lure Cook in because it could trick Cook into thinking, I'm the aggressor, I'm the puncher in this fight. But then Godoy's got that in his back pocket where, hey, I can crack you and hurt you too.
Setting a trap type of
yes.
thing.
Ooh,
Rip
nice
to the body there.
Straight, a little low belt line, but a good attempt.
Early uptick in pace here from both of these fighters as well. Yes, a 10-round fight, but they can fly by pretty quickly. Not a single round to be wasted, and both of these fighters recognizing that.
Well, Godoy's definitely looking to slow down the pace. This is strategic lifting on his. He's not tired, but he's looking to slow down the pace so he doesn't get run over by Cook's volume and pressure. And he's doing a lot of good things in there. He spins back to the center of the ring.
Cook wasn't able to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And perhaps the elusiveness early in the fight of Godoy is maybe leading to some of that hesitation to pull that trigger.
Well, we're seeing two different fights right now. It's two different. When we're inside like this, Cook's showing his inside prowess, his craftsmanship inside, where he takes his hand and wraps it around the other guy's waist while he tries to maneuver him into position to throw shots. But then we have this, where Godoy is looking to maintain range and keep Cook off. And he's landing. When it's in the center of the ring, it's Godoy's fight. When the battle is on the ropes, shots like that, it's Cook's fight.
No time to touch gloves. Looked like Godoy might have wanted one there, but like you said, now is not the time.
Well, the way these guys the pace is being fought and the shots and openings that these guys are trying to set up to land, it's doubtful that I'm not sure if this fight reaches the finish line. One thing we do know, Godoy came to fight tonight. He came with a game plan. He's prepared. Cook is not fighting a slouch tonight. Cook wins tonight. He beat a credible fighter.
And there was the element of the unknown with Godoy, right? First fight outside his homeland of Argentina. Safe to say you're impressed through 2.5, nearly 3 rounds here.
I'm impressed through nearly 3 rounds because he has been relatively untested. It's a late stage of his career at 35 to be answering some of these questions we have. But so far in this 3rd round, he's answered them up to this point.
Final 20 seconds, round number 3. Lots of action in this main event of the evening.
Nice body shot there by Cook. He needs to do more of that.
Cook able to get out of the way of danger there. Just in time, final few seconds here. Godoy goes to the body. 3 rounds in the books in what has been a hotly contested main event. Not much to separate these two men so far in this fight.
No, not much at all. And that round there, I thought there was that one significant blow Cook landed, that overhand hook around the guard. It might have been the hardest punch in the round, but I don't know if it was enough to win. Over around is 3 minutes, and over that 3-minute period, I still think that Godoy got a lot of good work done from range, and a lot of good things he was doing too to keep Cook from landing too many shots like that. You could argue right now that Godoy has won 2 out of the first 3 rounds, but
close enough to maybe go either way.
Close enough to go either way.
If you've got 3 judges scoring the fights over the course of 3 rounds.
If someone had a 2 out of 3 for Brandon Cook right now, I wouldn't argue.
Luckily, we've got 7 rounds to go, so lots of times to sort things out.
Well, sometimes the best way to sort things out is if it doesn't go to the judges' hands, even better.
Right. Definitive answer.
Remove the numbers.
No debate.
Yes. That's one way Cook can remove that debate. If he keeps pounding that body, throwing, I call them cut-off punches. When the guy's moving laterally that side to side, cut him off, pound those flanks as he's trying to move.
Well, that could be an interesting strategy adjustment from Brandon Bad Boy Cook as well, because the lateral movement of Godoy has been a strength of his through 3 rounds.
But Cook has seen this before. This is where Cook's experience advantage can come in, because he's seen this before. He's seen styles of this before, and guys trying to do this in front of him. And it's just a matter of applying his experience here tonight. And, oh, there it is.
Cracking right hand, but Godoy responds with a left.
But he's found a home for that right hook, Cook, and as the fight wears on, that punch can start doing more and more damage. You don't want to take too many clean shots like that as the fight goes on.
These 2 men certainly pack some power. 35 KOs combined between them. We've seen the sting in the shots from both men multiple times in this fight. Both of these men have the ability to end fights.
Yes, and so far, I think this is a more positive round so far for Cook. I think Cook here in this fight, this round, has taken control, and this is turning more and more to a Brandon Cook fight. I'm telling you, Godoy didn't like that right hook right there. If I'm Cook, I want to keep taking advantage of that jab, coming back slow. He's got a home for that right hand.
And this one over the top, perhaps the work to the body, opening something up top for Brandon Cook.
It is, and Godoy also has to bring that jab back to his guard quicker, because Cook is picking the timing on that jab now, and that right hand's finding its home before that jab comes back. It's a good Cook round.
Now it almost seems like Godoy is the one who's a little bit gun-shy, perhaps unsure of the emerging or moving forward of Brandon Cook and how to react to it.
Well, and listen, pressure makes diamonds, but sometimes pressure breaks too. Oh!
Is that a clip over the ear into the back of the head?
That's a clean knockdown.
Yep, that is.
I was saying this earlier. Godoy has in his back pocket. He can trick Cook into thinking he's the puncher because he's coming forward, but he's got them in the back hand. I can hurt you too. Don't think because I'm moving and running around that I can't hurt you. I can.
We'll see how Brandon Cook responds to that. Does that inject any urgency? Just 10 seconds to work with in this round, so not a lot of time. Watch out.
That's a tough pill for Cook to swallow, because he was really having his best round so far in this fight. And that knockdown the scorecards wiped away all his hard work.
Right.
But if you can look at, have a look at this knockdown. Oh, see that right hand?
And the knockdown, obviously the main moment in that round. Brandon Cook, you're right, had an excellent 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. He was the one
behind the head, kind of behind the ear. When you get hit behind the ear like that, it shakes off your equilibrium. It's in your legs. Your legs go.
Yeah.
Your head feels fine. Your upper body's fine, but your legs have them under their own.
Right.
And that's what happened there with Cook.
It doesn't always have to be a slug to the jaw to put that little blip on the brain.
That's right.
Quick shot behind the ear.
He's got a cut in his right eye too, and that could be again. again, he's had the kind of physically demanding style where he's got some scar tissue there. That could be a cut from previous fights, and it opens up that much easier.
Over the course of time, so much easier to reopen those.
Exactly.
So how does that knockdown play into this fight? A fourth round that Brandon Cook seemed to be well in control of, but Godoy in the final 30 seconds scores the first knockdown of this contest. Interesting to see how it plays into both fighters' approach. Is there confidence now that we'll see emerge in the game of Godoy? Is there any tentativeness or perhaps urgency?
Well, I think what we see with Godoy is confidence so far in this fifth round. He's not afraid to take some initiative and try to back Cook up now that he knows, hey, my shots can have an effect and get some results. He's not so and boy, this is something where if he feels like he can start backing Cook up, see, one thing he's showing early in this fight is a little more versatility than Cook, because Cook knows one way: come forward, walk you down, grind you down with pressure and attrition. He doesn't know how to fight backing up, and if Godoy can find a way to back him up without taking too much punishment, then I think Cook is in deep waters.
Oh, and does some of the counter ability of Godoy, I mean, Brandon will continue to put the pedal down to the metal, but does it put some question marks into the mind of Brandon Cook?
I'm telling you right now, Godoy is he's feeling himself right now, and I think he likes what he's seeing and what he's feeling in there, and he's not he's taking what Cook's had to offer, and he's saying, okay, I'm still here, and I can give it right back.
Well, you want to build on that confidence from the end of round 4, and Godoy's done a great job here in round number 5, though Brandon Cook certainly, like you said, not going to change his approach to this fight. It's going to be forward, it's going to be pressure.
100%.
Nice shot to the body there.
There's no question, Cook is a warrior. Cook is a warrior, and the word quit doesn't exist in his vocabulary. He's going to be fighting right to the very end.
Separation here from the referee. Godoy trying to gain some respect.
Well, Godoy's really, I like the way he's placing his shots in this round too. He's really picking the shots wise, and he's not just throwing the throw. Like every punch he throws is with intent, and it's with a purpose, and with a specific target in mind.
Efficient use of energy.
Yes.
From Godoy. Nice feint there from Cook before launching the left hand, now with an uppercut on the right. Final few seconds here of round number 5. We've got ourselves a fight here because Brandon Cook and Gino Godoy are going blow for blow, back and forth. Main event of the evening here at Pickering Casino Resort has been all that has been advertised on our way to round number 6. Gino Godoy did a good job of building off that knockdown in round number 4, taking that confidence in round number 5 and using an efficient use of energy to continue to accumulate some damage on Brandon Cook.
Yes, and now Cook I think Cook has to find some ways now to apply that pressure a little bit more strategically. You know, take his jab out of the toolbox, start doubling and tripling up on that jab, up and down, body, head. And then when he gets inside, work, pound the shoulders, pound the chest, pound the arms, the biceps, whatever you get your hands on until he opens up those ribs, and then you pound those flanks and work your way up. Make it ugly, smother this guy, don't give him room to punch.
Well, everything you've described is Brandon Cook to a T. The working, the smothering, the intensity, the aggression. So if that's his path to victory in this fight, that could be something that falls right into his skill set and right into his strengths.
But Godoy he's moving in a way where he only moves when he has to move. And he stands there, he looks like he's stationary, Cook's okay, I got him, and then it's little steps where he's moving just enough to keep Cook out of range, but not enough where he's expending too much energy, where he's taking 3 steps to Cook's 1.
Cook with a nice job keeping that guard up, blocking the right hand of Godoy.
Nice lead right hand there from Cook. It's a point shot. It's a scoring shot.
Godoy now looking looking to perhaps get out of the corner here as Brandon Cook's done a nice job of cutting the ring off. Godoy's.
He has, and I like the way when he throws that right hook to the body, even if it doesn't land on the ribs, it's banging Godoy's arm. It traps his arm. Not only does it wear down that left arm, but it also traps it at the same time, jams it from him being able to lift and pump that jab. I would like to see Cook follow up on that, though, with his left hand. Yeah, right hook downstairs, come up with the left hook upstairs.
The hometown crowd trying to get behind Brandon Bad Boy Cook.
But Cook's off to a positive start this round, but two hands. Throw that right hook to the belly, come upstairs. Come upstairs and follow up. Don't stop at the body.
Cook perhaps
that uppercut.
Feeding off the intensity in this crowd. Another uppercut, a second uppercut finds its way up the middle. Response to the body there by Godoy. Cook has felt that one.
And he's going back to it. He knows he hurt him.
Yes.
He knows he hurt him.
Not as much sting in these shots from Cook after the body shot either.
Boy, Cook is a hardened warrior because he's...
and another to the body.
I know what he's
and that's going
right
to open
now.
up the head as well.
Cook is one tough customer because I know those body shots that they hurt. I know what he's feeling. And boy, oh boy.
It has completely removed the sting of the shots of Cook as well.
Godoy's really impressed me tonight because I had questions and he's showing again, that leverage, he's finding it.
At what point does he go up top? I mean, the body's working, but the up top then opens up as well.
I mean, it's so tempting, though, because he can land it so cleanly that I think he's hoping that one's going to drop Cook. Cook's showing a lot to stay on his feet because those shots were right on the money.
Cook looking to return favor as well with a few body shots of his own.
But again, though, Godoy is showing that, hey, just because, again, I'm moving doesn't mean that I'm not the puncher here. I can hurt you too.
This is a body blow battle as now Brandon Cook, look out, coming right through to us.
Wicked body shots.
Almost had an uninvited guest at the announce table here. The body shots was a theme through the second half of that round. It all got started by Gino Godoy. Brandon Cook trying to respond in kind.
And I will say something too, because referee David Dunbar tonight refed some of my fights during some of my prime years too, and I will tell you, he's getting up there in age, but he's got his work cut out for him.
Over 2,000 fights officially.
And I think he's loving every bit of it. You know what? The older he gets, he's gonna laugh when he watches this. But
I think he liked that round.
Old man Dunbar is getting every bit of that stimulation to keep him young tonight, boy.
Listen, Brandon Cook had his moments earlier in the round. In fact, it looked like he had Godoy on the ropes, literally was applying the pressure. The atmosphere in the arena seemed to be going to his legs, going to his frequency of shots, but Godoy turned the tides very quick with not one, not two, but 3 body shots.
Godoy's he's had an ace in his back pocket this whole fight. I can't stress it enough. When you're watching this on the surface, it looks like Cook is the puncher, but Godoy's like, just because I'm moving doesn't mean I can't hurt you.
Circles back to the setting traps that we talked about as well, right? That's the beautiful part of this sport, is the ability to show one thing but have an intention for another.
That's why we call it the sweet science, baby.
That's it.
And what it does with a guy like Cook too, who relies so much on pressure and prides himself on being the body puncher, is it makes him think twice about moving forward now and throwing his own shots to the body, because he knows, hey, I'm vulnerable too.
I'm not sure there'll be time for that type of thinking, though. I mean, Brandon Cook has to make it. But it's a natural inkling, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's easy to say from the broadcast table, but when you're in there in a fight, obviously there's different reads, different reacts, and you draw on your previous experience from the rounds that have just passed, and that's exactly what might factor in, like you say.
But I will say, what I am seeing right now, I'm not seeing that from Cook right now. The body language I'm seeing right now, I think Cook is controlling this round right now. It's not pretty, it's not dominant, it's very competitive. Godoy is still very much a threat. It might even be ahead of the cards if we're being honest with ourselves. But Cook right now, I think, is working in this round. I say that just when I say that.
Another one around the top, the side of the ear type area, right?
It makes me wonder if Godoy's listening to me. He goes, hey, don't you talk too soon now.
Well, it was the type of punch that we saw lead to the knockdown in round number 3.
Yes.
Right above the ear type of right hook. Nice duck there by Cook, though he might have ate one. Just keeps moving forward.
Godoy's fighting a very smart fight. He came prepared tonight. He had the benefit of a full training camp, and it's showing. It's very clear that he had 2 months to prepare for Cook and study him. Nice body shot there by Cook. Nice, more.
First one onto the arms, but like you said earlier, those can still accumulate damage.
Yes.
Final 20 seconds, round number 7. Godoy going to what's worked for him so far in this fight, working the body. Brandon Cook, as the only way he knows how, continues to move forward.
And you know what? It might have been enough. It might have been enough to get him this round.
Tough round to score.
Tough round to score. Tough round to score. You can disagree with me if you want. Shane, how do you feel? Do you feel like it's a Godoy round or a Cook round?
I think Brandon Cook moved forward enough in that round to get the 10-9 on the scorecards.
Yeah.
I still am impressed with the elusiveness of Godoy, and I think you touched on it earlier, just the wise use of energy, the efficiency that he expends his energy. Everything has a purpose. Everything is not done without thought, without planning, and I think that's been a strength of Godoy in this fight, the ability to pick and choose when to use that energy, when to move. His lateral movement has been key as well, but I think Brandon Cook did a great job of that round, moving forward, landing enough shots to perhaps get the 10-9.
I'm starting to not believe you when you tell me that you've never boxed before.
We could shadow box after this if you want in there. I mean, I might, despite the shadow element of that statement, I might end up in on my butt in about 15 seconds flat. But listen, I don't box. I absolutely love the sport. I mean, what's not to love about it? And tonight has been a great example why, from start to finish on this fight card, United Boxing Promotions bringing to Pickering Casino Resort a great night of fights, and we still have a couple rounds, maybe less, of this main event of the evening. Brandon Cook, Gino Godoy, tightly fought, tightly contested main event here tonight.
Well, Cook's got a hill to climb here in these last 3 rounds, because he has been outboxed in some of the early rounds, and he did have the knockdown going against some of the cards, so he's going to really need a serious late rally, more exchanges like that.
Nice uppercut.
Mixing up his attack, more of that. Hook, uppercut, come around the sides, up the middle.
Maybe just half an inch from getting under the chin. Was maybe more of a grazing blow up the middle, the front of the face.
100%, 100%. And see, the challenge not here for Godoy. Here's where Cook's strengths show themselves. Consistency, his volume, his conditioning. Sometimes it can overcome disadvantages he's given up in skill and speed.
Right.
Because Godoy has shown a very smart game plan tonight, very efficient, very effective, but he's a little bit spotty now. He hasn't been as consistent the last round and a half.
Well, lots of time left in the fight as well. 10-round fight, 8, 9, 10. That's 3 rounds. 7 was close as well. So.
And Godoy also has to learn. Oh, he's looking to shovel that lever again. He came close, but Godoy also has to realize he's shoveled some early rounds in the bank plus the knockdown, but he also has to remember he is on the road. He's not the benefit of having home territory. He can't rely on the judges to think they're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. He can't afford to have too many close rounds.
Well, let's circle back to the first fight of the night, though. Michael Cabato, the Canadian, and what we thought might have been a 3-1 victory for him, was scored a 2-2 majority draw in a 4-round fight.
Exactly.
So the judges, everybody, hey, we're all human beings, right? We all watch the sport through our own eyes. So.
Well, and if Godoy does pull out the win tonight, let me tell you, this is a pro Cook crowd. He's gonna. I hope security is ready to do their job tonight when he tries to get out of here.
I think he can take care of himself.
That's true. That is true.
I always laugh on these fighter entrances when there's security guards fighting these absolute animal killers. I think if things go wrong, these guys can take care of it. They'll be just fine. Oh, and a right hand there from Godoy.
Oh my God, yeah.
Connects. Oh, and a response to the body and another rip to the body.
But Godoy keeps those elbows in tight. Doesn't give it away. He hasn't let those ribs take too much punishment tonight, but it's the aggression It's the aggression and just the volume, the pressure of Cook that just.
Right.
But again, all those body shots. Boy, oh boy. Well, I know Cook's in shape because he's feeling those shots, and they hurt.
Yeah, and those can easily. We talk about shutting the lights out with a knockout to the head, but your body shots can easily shut the lights out on the body.
I'll tell you right now, I've been ringing the bell. I've taken shots on the chin, you know, in 25 years in this game, and I would rather take a headshot and have my bell rung before I take a body shot.
Wow.
It's like
it's just a complete shutdown.
It takes your soul.
Right.
It takes your soul.
Yeah.
You see it fly away.
Yeah. There's the cracking right hand. That was the biggest moment of the round.
Again, that's a tough. This is a tough round to score.
You think that one blow there was enough? That was the biggest moment of the round.
It's the biggest moment. I don't know if it was enough though. Again, I do think his work. He's still doing some good work. He's landing some good selective shots, but it's been a little spotty. It's been a bit more sporadic the last 2 rounds. I don't know if it's enough to win over a 3-minute period.
Right, and with the busyness and the frequency of Brandon Cook, that adds up over a 3-minute round as well.
I still have Godoy ahead on the cards right now, but Cook is closing the gap with 2 rounds to go.
Well, an important ninth round here.
And you never know what the judges are looking at.
A short right hand there by Cook.
The judges may not be as smart as me, so.
I would never claim to be.
Nice
stinging jab there, yeah. Cook moves forward. Oh, and a nice right hand. Perhaps Cook's biggest punch of the fight.
He literally took him, he backed him up from one side of the ring to the other there.
Yeah, and a nod of acknowledgement, another one.
Oh.
Right hand from Cook is finding a home, follows up with a shot to the body.
Well, this is what makes Cook so entertaining and TV friendly is just you see him take punishment where he's vulnerable and he looks as he's on the verge of going down, and then he comes back like this and that turns the tide in his favor. That's what makes him. This is what makes the fans want to keep coming back and support him.
Early in the round as well. Just the first minute is ticked away. Still 2 to go. Brandon Cook has been so close finding a home on the uppercut as well at points throughout this fight. See him going back to it from time to time. Can he find a home for that uppercut, splitting the guard of Godoy?
Oh, and now he's trying to throw some feints. Oh,
watch the head.
Liver shot again.
Oh, and another to the body.
Jeez.
You know what? I think I'll take a pass on that to even shadow boxing after the fight. I'll stay here at the safety announce table if that's okay with you.
But you know, I know that body shot hurts because now look, he's got Cook in the corner now and he's commanding the center of the ring. Just like that, he slowed down because Cook really was on a roll there and that's what momentum going. But now here's where Godoy can't give it away though because he slowed Cook down. But now, don't give the ball away. Stay in control now.
Keep the pressure.
Keep that pressure going. Right. Don't give it away. Don't take turns.
Oh, right hand. Now they're swinging Godoy with a few shots of his own.
I said don't take turns, and neither guy listened to me. They said, no, we will take turns rocking each other.
Well, Godoy can only take so much. He's got to throw back, and he does just that. Continues to wear the damage, the blood leaking from the nose of Godoy. It's been a bloody nose for the past few rounds at least.
I gotta say too, I gotta give credit to both guys here for maintaining an incredible pace in this fight.
It's unreal.
35 and 36. It's one thing to do this in your 20s, but these guys are maintaining a ferocious pace right now and taking punishment at this stage of their careers.
Yeah, average human being's tired after 20, 30 seconds. I mean, it might not look as much on TV, but
it's a testament to their conditioning and dedication.
100%. All while the danger of a world-class fighter taking your head off. I mean, that's what we're here to see. That's why we are here. That's why the fans tune in. That's why the fans pay the money for the tickets, is to see world-class boxing just like this. 1 round to go in this main event, and that was a strong round for Brandon "Bad Boy" Cook.
Yes. And you know what? Boy, oh boy, he's closed the gap, but he may need something real big now in this last round because my scorecard, I have Godoy 2 points ahead.
With 1 round to go.
With 1 round to go. A knockdown could be extremely beneficial to leave a lasting impression and seal the deal. I think the momentum is going his way, and the last 2-3 rounds he's picked up the pace and find a way to
close the gap and take away space for Godoy to land too many counters, but there was some early rounds in the bank, and that knockdown could come back to haunt him now on the scorecards.
Right. Final round, 10th and final round, fighters embrace in the middle of the ring. Brandon Cook. Brandon Cook and Godoy meeting in the middle. Cook knows he has to move forward, knows he has to push the pace. Godoy now ties up Cook.
Well, if I'm Godoy, listen, just because I have him 2 points up doesn't mean, you know, I wouldn't want to coast in the last round.
Assume nothing.
When you're in the opponent's hometown.
Of course.
You don't want to take anything. You don't want to leave nothing to chance. You want to do whatever you can in your power that you can control to have things go in your favor.
Level changes from both fighters. Both fighters have done such a great job here tonight of mixing it up.
Incredible effort from both guys.
Absolutely. A main event certainly worthy of the billing. 10th and final round here in this super welterweight contest.
I do think Cook right now in this round he is chipping away and grinding Godoy down. Well, just as I say that, Godoy, again, it's like he's listening to me.
It seems like Godoy knows when the proper moment is to stem the tide. Brandon Cook pushes forward. And Godoy says, all right, this has to end now, and fires back at just the right moment before things can get out of control.
100%.
You think they're pushing the borderline of the belt here? Or
They are.
It's getting close. I'm seeing some low ones.
It is getting close.
Haven't seen any complaints from either fighter, though.
No complaints. They are taking a little bit more liberties. It's the last round. Again, figuratively, the gloves are off.
Absolutely. Final minute of the 10th round. Looking for the room for the uppercut as Cook has Godoy up against the ropes.
And what I like too, I need to acknowledge again Dave Dunbar, because he's letting the fighters fight. He's not so quick to break up the action and make the fight about him. And even if punches do stray a little borderline, he's not one to call out every single minor infraction. He's letting the fighters fight their way out and figure it out for themselves.
The fighters are settling this score. There is no doubt about that.
We need more referees like that. Heard and not seen.
You don't ref 2,000 plus fights by accident. Final 20 seconds. Cook going to the body now. Seeing if the clack of the 10-second marker maybe has one last rush here. What do these gentlemen have in the tank? They both start to throw. Final seconds of this main event of the evening.
Great
Back
fight.
and forth they go. Godoy and Cook throw right to the bell and maybe even past. What a main event. Beautiful. Both of these men can hold their hands up in the air with pride. This was a super welterweight bout that delivered on all angles. The judges' scorecards will be interesting ones here tonight. That was one heck of a main event.
Boy, oh boy. Couldn't have asked for a better main event. Came as advertised. And you know what? I'll let this out of the bag now. I think he surprised Cook's people, regardless of who comes out the victor tonight. I was speaking with Cook and his handlers a little bit this morning at the weigh-in, and his handlers thought from the footage they had studied of Godoy that they thought they were going to get more of a stand-up European boxing moving style. He gave Cook some of that, but then the ace in his back pocket was, hey, if you need me to stand in the pocket and punch a little bit too, I can also do that when needed.
Well, that's the sign of a great fighter, the ability to bring multiple different elements to a boxing fight and keep your opponent guessing, right? And how much of the chess match perhaps could be played before the fight even begins.
And we're seeing it here in the replays here again. It was a tale of two fights. You know, you'd have Cook coming forward, putting on the pressure, volume, looking to land bombs over the top. And then you'd see Godoy regain control, weather the storm, and land sneaky, accurate counters like that one there. Yeah. And do just enough to keep him that.
Yeah,
in
the body
control,
shot.
just a step ahead.
And look at him keep moving forward.
Yes.
How?
Oh.
I mean, how? After 2-3 shots to the body, Brandon Cook keeps moving forward.
Listen, there's some things that science can't measure.
Right.
And that's the human spirit, and Cook's got plenty of that.
Cook getting a nice round of applause from his hometown crowd as well as he makes his way around the ring. Gino Godoy, he's elated with his performance as he gets his gloves taken off by his cornerman, and you can just see the elation on his face as well. We talked about it during the walkouts, during the entrances. First time after 31 fights, Gino Godoy ventures outside his homeland of Argentina, comes into enemy territory, comes in to take on the hometown fighter, and his performance was one he has to be thrilled with.
Answered a lot of questions about himself. He answered a lot of questions, and I hope he likes those answers.
Well, it's time to get the judges' scorecard on our main event of the evening. Let's head up to the ring for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go the 10-round distance in our main attraction of the evening, presented by Verde Alliance and Proper 12 Irish Whiskey. First off, let's hear it for both Brandon Cook and Gino Godoy. What a war! Judge Alan Davis scores the bout 95-94, Brandon Cook. Judge Martin DeLita scores the bout 96-93, Godoy. And Judge Jeremy Hayes scores the bout 95-94 for your winner via split decision, Brandon Bad Boy Cook.
Brandon Bad Boy Cook, the winner of the main event of the evening, the super welterweight bout. And how about this embrace between these two warriors? They go to war for 10 rounds. The respect is there, and it was earned over the course of the past 30 minutes.
And that's what's beautiful about this game, is you know, when you give every ounce of your mind, body, and soul in that ring, and you, with another man, there's no question. You have to respect. There's no other option but to respect.
Split decision victory for Brandon Bad Boy Cook.
Yeah.
You had the scorecards going for Godoy, but some of those rounds I think close enough to go either way. Swing rounds, exactly.
Swing rounds. I had a 95-94 Godoy, but I really can't argue if it's the other way. Very, very tough competitive fight.
And I think we have to give credit to Brandon Cook. There was multiple moments of adversity in this fight. He did a good job of overcoming that adversity, and perhaps the key rounds 8, 9, and 10 is when Brandon Cook really, despite that adversity, found a way to put some points in the bank and ultimately get the decision.
100%. He swept those last 3 rounds. He found an extra gear. He dug deep, and he found it within himself to overcome the early adversity and do enough to convince the judges tonight.
Well, that'll do it for us here at Pickering Casino Resort. It was a fantastic night of fights put on by United Boxing Promotions. The card delivering start to finish. Next event for United Boxing Promotions, May 27th at the CAA Center. Go to Ticketmaster.ca to get your tickets for that event. For Tony Lewis, I'm Shane Hollinshead, our fantastic crew of Rogers TV production and volunteers. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Saturday night. It was one to remember. United Boxing Promotions, Pickering Casino Resorts. Brandon Bad Boy Cook coming away with the victory in a hard-fought 10-round main event over Gino Godoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time for more United Boxing Promotion.